take on the darkness, stare down deceit. Murder in the headlines, justice in the beat. From cold case whispers to killers in disguise, we rip off the mask, expose all the lies. Facts like bullets reload and deliver. Truth cuts deep like a blade in a river. Corruption shakes when the mic goes live. We dig where others won't survive. James rolling through the smoke. Truth hits hard, no time for a joke. Deceit, murder, we name every name. No restraint, no shame, just flame. Locked on the case, we investigate.
This is 12-gauge investigative. Let's jump in.
You'll ever need 12 gauge investigate. We make them bleed. No games, no censors, just truth. Justice is loud, and we're the sound. This is 12 gauge investigative.
Addicted and unsure. The name 12, the last, is the gauge of the blast. Hear me out, it's all about the game. The YouTube streets ain't got no shame. There are beggars, grifters, betties too. Just a lot of confusion, whatever it do. From missing kids to people being butchered in the night. Many lost in these chats without a fight. 12 gauge, listen up fast. The beat of the heart will melt your cast. It's the crown of the champ, the image of the might. Get your ass ready, because here comes the might. There are beggars, grifters, betties too. Just a lot of confusion, whatever it do. From missing kids to people being butchered in the night. Many lost in these chats without a fight. Listen to the words that run from my mic. There will be knowledge and facts delight. You don't get it, you think I'm the brash. Listen to the ones that you just throw away your cash. 12, 12, 12, can you remember the name? It's about a sinister shadow in the dark to ruin your sleep. With the mares of the night that give you chills, come to the channel. You can get your fears brought to live without the censors making a fight. Your brain beat down from the grifters on these streets. Give the channel a try and dance to the beat of a different drum. There are beggars, grifters, betties too. Just a lot of confusion, whatever it do. From missing kids to people being butchered in the night. Many lost in these chats without a fight. MG and success is what I'm about. It's the honesty and humility without the clout. I chose to be who I am a long time ago. Addiction had me drowning hell on with the show. 12, 12, 12, 12, click, click, boom. Another round for the unconvinced, here it comes now.
All right. What's everybody doing tonight on this Wednesday? We are Wednesday, right? Yeah, I thought so. Anyways, hello, my people. How y'all doing tonight? Looks like y'all are already rocking and rolling, ready to have a good time. I hope that you are, because, like I said, this is almost going to be the season finale of this case, because I've already lined up something different to start working on. And this one's gonna blow your mind. The new one, you stay with it. There's a lot of twists and turns with it. So I hope that y'all have had a great, awesome, dry day, because it's been raining 3 days in a row. 3 days in a row here in Texas. Well, if you've never been to Texas, you know that that's pretty damn good for this part of the state. You know. I do want to tell you that I am going to do the Carmelo Anthony case I will bring some live footage when I do the case. So I will be boots on the ground, um, showing you guys once I do the case. I will be boots on the ground, and I will be showing you exactly where the crime went down and be narrating along the way. But that'll be next Monday. Until then, we have a long weekend ahead. I don't know what you guys are going to do. I'm going to head out of town with Cricket. Cricket and I are going to board up, get our luggage going tomorrow, and then we're going to head out. So I hope that you guys are doing well. You know, there's a lot of meltdowns going on all around the internet, all around the YouTube streets, on the Facebook pages. I mean, there's a lot of meltdowns going on. So I don't know. I don't know how y'all felt about today. Hopefully, according to Lean, will be here. She's supposed to stop in. I don't know if she remembered or not. I even did a video with Cricket. Um, she was on a short last night. So if y'all get a chance, go check her out. But like I said, Leanie and Warning Label's supposed to be here tonight. So I don't know if they're gonna make it, but if not, you got me, and I'll try to do the best I can. And if anybody wants to come up on panel, give me your thoughts about this whole case, because after all, we got to say goodbye. We got to say goodbye for now, and we have to put our differences aside and move on. Because if we don't, it's almost like spinning your wheels. You're just spinning your wheels, rehashing the same stuff. Because honestly, the only thing that's going to happen from here on out, let me see if I can use her stuff. Because I didn't really watch the trial. I did a little bit, but I wasn't able to watch a lot of it. So hopefully she has it. If anybody's able to get in touch with Leanie, please let her know that we're waiting on her. Hold on a second. I'll play the court because it wasn't that long, and I do want to discuss it with you guys. If you hear some soft music in the background, that's Cricket's dog TV playing. So that's that's going right now. She just had some Taco Villa. If you've ever been to Texas, you know what Taco Villa is, what Rosa's are, what Rosa's Cafe is. They're owned by the same people, so it is basically that type of establishment. So we had some bean and cheese burritos. I don't know if you've ever had bean and cheese burritos with red sauce. Seemed to be Cricket's thing. She liked it, and I've always liked it. You know. So here we go. Let's go ahead and thank you so much. Inspirational. Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and start this, and I'm giving Leanie all the credit because she did stream it on her channel, and I'm going to go ahead and start it. And when she comes in, just let me know, guys, and I will drop her the link. Here we go.
Jennings and
I know it's probably going to be a little low, but I can't crank it up. It'll start echoing.
Miss Allen is here as well.
Miss Allen is here as well. Very well, thank you. All right, we are here today to entertain a change of plea. Before I start, I want to address some issues of concern and otherwise. First, I appreciate everybody in attendance today being on their best behavior. Please, no outbursts or demonstrations. Any such conduct will result in immediate removal and may result in an inability to attend further court proceedings in this case. I want to point out that there have been calls by some for the public to contact me and my office in an attempt to influence my decision-making in this case. This has been extraordinarily disruptive for court staff and the ability for them to get work done, not only in this case, but in other cases where defendants are entitled to have their cases processed, and frankly, as important, if not more so, for victims.
I mean, as we know, a lot of people from other channels told their subs to call this man's office and overwhelm his voicemail. It wasn't just Steve. So I know the narrative will be out there that Steve told everybody to call. Well, you know what? There's some other creators that have been calling nonstop. Their subs have been leaving voicemails. Their disdain for the judges. You know, they wanted the judge to change his mind. Well, for them to think that that's how this works, it's interesting to me because that's not how it works. That's not how any of this works, you know? If we talk about Leni, she will feel the summon. Just say her name 3 times. That usually works with Jeff H. So we'll see if it works with her. So there was some creators that were having their subs call this man's office nonstop. I don't know if any of y'all did, but what's interesting to me is how he says here in a minute, afforded to security, afforded to the police if it's deemed necessary. So we could have some people having some consequences behind their irrational behavior. Because you know what? You can't harass a judge. What the hell are they thinking? You know what I mean? Does anybody think that that was right? Let me know, chat. Let me know what you think about that.
To have their cases processed in those cases. It's also highly inappropriate. A court is not supposed to, and this court will never take into account public sentiment in making an opinion regarding its judicial decisions in cases. Courts should, and I always will, make decisions based on where the facts and the law lead me, period. I have not read any of the numerous messages nor listened to any of the numerous voicemails that have been sent to me and my staff. Those have all been forwarded to security and, where appropriate, to law enforcement. I ask that you not continue to mount such campaigns or to send me information like this, because again, it is not appropriate and frankly not something I would take into account when deciding a matter in a case like this. I also want people to understand some very basic concepts about the ideas of separation of powers, what the court's duties are, and what the duties and the rights of the executive, or in this case, the prosecuting attorney, is. The executive, the elected prosecutor, is the sole authority in deciding what charges to pursue, including whether, as well as what penalties to ask for, and what penalties to pursue, including the death penalty. This court cannot require the prosecutor to seek the death penalty, nor would it be appropriate for this court to attempt to do that.
I mean, he's telling it how it is. He's laying it out. You know, he's laying it out for people not to understand what's going on during this court hearing. It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. There's going to be channels that are going to be speaking one kind of way. That's their prerogative. Thank you so much. Inspirational. Thank you for that. Nina, I'll put the link down there if you want to come up. There she is. She comes with a warning label, y'all. So y'all be careful. There she is. There she is. So think about what he's saying right now. He is saying that, you know what, he's not to be swayed by anything or any decision based on people kind of bullying him into making a decision. What do you think, Nina?
I don't think he can bully Hitler.
I don't think so either. How you doing, Nina?
I am beside myself today. I don't think I've ever cussed so much in my life.
Oh, well, you earned your label well then.
Honey,
Were you doing were you doing it in person, person to person, or were
I've
you
been
doing it
fighting
on
with freaking William all day.
who's William?
You know, Koberger's only friend.
Oh, okay. Why were you doing that?
Because he's on his second channel putting out all these Kopaka did it videos and all this. And I'm like, you stupid retard.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I mean, I hope
I
that
mean,
you calm.
today is the day that you want to come out and, you know, can somebody not just let these families have some kind of peace?
Yeah. I mean, but it was a very moving day, and I watched this whole hearing pretty much, and I
Phew.
understand what you're talking about. I mean, but we'll get there. I mean, we're kind of waiting for Leni to get here. She'll be here in about 5-10 minutes. So I'm sorry that you had to deal with all that madness today.
I
I
didn't
mean,
have to deal with it. I chose to deal with it.
well, you know what I mean. I
I
mean,
know. I know. I know.
what do you feel better? I mean, do you feel like you got what you needed out?
No, I really need to cuss the prosecution out.
Nancy Grace did a great job last night. I don't know if you caught my video at
Oh,
3 in the
yeah.
morning.
Oh, yeah. I thought her eyes were going to come out of her head. And
I
I
mean,
mean, you know, she's passionate about it. I mean, you know, you have
I
to give her
thought,
that.
yeah, I thought one way myself until I started listening to her, and I'm like, you know what? She's on to something. She's on to something. You know what I mean?
You know, here's what people need to understand is, you know, if you really think about it, these people that are still doubting this,
Hmm.
y'all, he took a plea that's going to shorten his life. He took
Right,
a plea that took him out of the protection of death row isolation.
right.
So an innocent man don't do that, y'all. I'm sorry. Y'all can think what you want to think, and you can question what you want to question. And if you get right down to it, we don't deserve anything. The family does.
Of course, of course. I hear you. Well, welcome to everybody who's coming in. Thank you so much for joining Nina and myself. Whether you're over in Nina's chat or whether you're in mine, thank you
Oh,
so
I
much
forgot.
for
Hey,
thank
Chad,
you
I'm sorry.
thank you for being here. We have some creators in the house. Thank you so much for being here. We have some very loyal subs in the house. We're all here for the same reason, I believe. It's just terrible how this went down. None of us, I think, were prepared for this at all. I mean, when you sent me that, Nina, I was kind of like floored. I was like, why is she sending me a picture of Brian Enton? I was like, why is Nina sending me a picture of Brian Enton? Is she okay? Somebody check
Yeah,
on
because
Nina. I don't know if she's all right.
yeah, you know, I don't send pictures of Brian Hinton.
I was shocked. I was
And
really
you know,
shocked.
I told William, I said, William, I expected to see you in court. Come on, Dylan showed up for her friends.
Right. And what did he say?
Now he's took his comments away.
That guy just seeking 15 minutes of fame.
That's
You
what
know,
I
right?
told him. Today's not the day. You want to do this tomorrow? You can do it tomorrow, but today ain't the day.
Right. That's so true, Nina. That's so true.
You know,
You
to
know,
me, that is like, you know, hell, I'm wrong for being up here venting right now. You know, this ain't my day. This ain't about me. It's a whole lot bigger than me. You know,
But we said we would get up here and do this, even if it's
Yes, we did.
even if it's for the last time for this case, because we're coming back to Texas for another case. So hopefully you'll do some research on that as well. It's a very interesting case, Nina. This one has more twists and turns than Idaho ever did.
You know, one thing I've learned is it doesn't matter how much knowledge you have. It doesn't matter how much research you do. It really doesn't matter on YouTube. What matters on YouTube is who they pick.
Right, right. Well, for now at least, they're picking us at the moment, Nina.
That's right.
We
That's
have
right.
we
Damn
have
it.
some numbers in the chat. That's why I'm saying thank you so much for being here, y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Let's get this out in the
Well, I
algorithm.
hope there's not any new people in here because, boy, if it's their first time seeing me, they won't never come back.
Well, she has her own channel and it's warning label Nina.
Gage is like, I am not responsible. I am the nice one.
No, it's okay, Nina. It's okay. I know where your emotions are coming from. I get it. I mean, I've kind of shut down my emotions on this case for a while. I mean, I even posted I was going on vacation, you know what I mean? So it's like, I was ready to kind of walk away from it until August. And, August obviously isn't coming.
August
So
came early.
yes, it did. Well, let me ask you some questions about the man of the hour.
Okay.
How do you feel about Koberger sitting there next to a defense team? Doesn't he look relaxed? Hey, everybody, how are y'all doing? The same question for you guys in the chat. Does Koberger look different than he'd looked the last couple hearings? Does he look more relaxed to you guys?
Yeah, I love that military haircut.
That was a jail. That was a jail special.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Lean, I'm dropping the link in the chat. So if you'd like to come on up,
Bless Lainey's heart.
were you
Bless
over
her
there?
heart.
Were you over there?
She had to turn the camera on the TV. She was crying so bad.
Yeah,
And that's heartbreaking. That's
it is.
heartbreaking that we have creators out here and people like, Sirius and us and people like that literally care, that literally have heart in it and they care. And somebody wants to pick today to cause trouble.
I mean, think about his stature though. He didn't look as stressed out as he normally does he?
No, I'm still selling. By the way, y'all, I'm still selling squares for prison justice. So pick a date, $10 a square. Whoever gets the closest date wins the kitty.
Okay,
Sorry,
Lenny, you
sorry,
need to you
Gage.
need you need to connect your mic or your camera in order to come up. I see you in the backstage, but it says you need to connect your camera or your mic, please, and then we can bring you up. So let's get on with the show a little bit now that Leanie's here, and we'll
Hey,
take some time
Lainey.
time to time to comment on the hearing. But here we go.
I'm going to
This
mute.
court, in
Okay.
considering a plea agreement, if it were to reject this plea agreement, cannot force the state to seek the death penalty. My role and power in considering a plea agreement is extremely limited. My role is to ensure that the defendant's plea is given freely, voluntarily, and intelligently. If those things are met, I can only reject a plea, such as the one in this case, where I'm not being asked to agree to the sentence in advance. If I can only reject it, for example, if the defendant does not meet or admit to all of the elements of the crime. That is, I can ensure what is called a factual basis to the plea.
So he can't be much clearer than that. Welcome, Leanie. Thank you for being up on panel tonight.
Hello.
You have any thoughts on what he just said?
Um, the first thought I have is for some reason I was echoing.
Oh, we hear you
Um,
pretty good.
well, I'm still echoing. So what do I do?
Um, let
Is it
me.
because I've got Nina open and you open? I think.
Yeah, if you have YouTube open, you might need to shut them down and just leave the StreamYard open.
Okay, I think I did it. Hot damn, y'all! I did it. Hello.
All right, there you go.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, hey, we learn quick in this channel. We learn quick, don't we, Lainey?
Yes,
Um,
sir.
so I was asking Nina. Obviously, she's had some very strong feelings. I didn't get to speak to anybody about this hearing today, because I was working, and that's why I decided to get on tonight to really let people have the opportunity to vent, to have the freedom to say what they want to say, whether it's in chat, whether it's up here on the panel, because you know what? Sometimes we need to defrag, right?
Mm. Yeah, it was I was much more emotional than I really thought I was gonna be. Um I I checked out, I think, for a little while. I because if I get emotional, it's really hard for me to rein that back in. So usually I put something on so people don't have to hear me boo-hoo or whatever. But I really didn't expect to go through all that, all those emotions that I went through. Um and I think, Gage, what did it for me was that all the man said was yes,
Yeah,
and the judge allowed it. I have been I've been hipler this whole time, and um, for Hitler to start out blasting the family, the Goncalves family. We know they were talking about them. They were asking everybody to message him or email him, and I'm going to be honest, I really did. Um, not ugly, but I did, and and then to end the way he did, like, just let Brian pick his crime, but also pick his way out. I mean, where's the accountability?
I hear you. I hear you. You were in my chat at 3 in the morning. I couldn't sleep. I had to get it out before I went to work. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So you heard what me and Nancy Grace had to say. I mean, signing the deal with the devil, which is pretty much what they did.
I agree. And I felt for you because I definitely had heard a different 12 gauge on your 3 o'clock live than I did when you were up on my panel. I could tell it had hit you a completely different way,
Yeah.
that you had come to terms, or something had switched in your heart or your head that made you just be like, is this really happening?
Nina, you want to jump in there?
Oh, Lord, I'll always jump.
Hi,
Okay.
Nina.
Hey, sweetie, I want you to know I enjoyed watching TV with you today.
It was my way out, Nina. I wanted to still run a good program, but
Honey,
I had
it's
to check out
okay.
a
I
minute.
mean, I was telling Gage that it was pretty emotional for you.
Yeah, I get too
And
invested.
I guess mine has hit me with anger.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the emotion in that whole place today, the whole place, every bit of it, there was nothing, nothing. I mean, I have more emotion in my trash can I mean, from
Yeah.
snotty nose or something. I mean, it was like so sterile and so, I don't even know how, I don't know. I mean, I've never been to one. Maybe I was expecting something different, but you know, I don't, it was just so cold. Cold.
Well,
That's what it was.
that's how they usually are, Nina. And then when you have the judge threatening to put you in jail if you lash out, I mean, I wouldn't test him at all. You know what I mean?
Mm.
If you lash out, he's gonna send you to jail or kick you out of the courtroom. You know what I'm saying? So,
But
but
sometimes there's times that you just go to jail.
well, I understand that. I understand that. Hey, don't kill the messenger, bro. Don't kill the messenger.
But you know what I mean, bro? Sometimes you just go
Yeah,
to jail.
I understand that. I mean, I couldn't pick out any of the family members. I was trying to, but I couldn't pick out any of them. You know.
I
I
mean, I will gladly be clad in orange to stand
Glad
up
in
for,
orange.
yes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm too emotional. Maybe I get too not involved or whatever, but yeah, maybe I'm just too emotional about it.
How can you not be though when you watch something happen and you dig deep? I mean, you're just trying to figure it out. You're trying to get justice uh and then for it just, you think you're going one way, and then all of a sudden, you know, that's it. We're done. Here you go. This is what, and in all reality, they owe us nothing, right?
I,
they owe the family. They don't,
exactly,
they don't owe
exactly,
us,
100, exactly.
yeah, anything. But we do tend to get very connected and very invested with victims, and we see them not as names and not as just something that you see across the news. We become somehow connected with them,
Right.
and so when we see an injustice to the victims, it's like, or the families, it's like, whoa. I mean, I feel sorry for people that weren't some that couldn't feel something through that.
Right. I mean, that's my thing is, how do you not feel it? You
Mm.
know, I mean, you've got a father that wouldn't even go in there.
Well, I
Well, I
wasn't
can.
sure. I'm sorry, Gage, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I don't want to sound cold, but I felt it. I just haven't. I mean, 25 years of dealing with these type of individuals has pretty much calloused me.
Right.
Where nothing really surprises me. I mean, I kind of figured that it might go to trial all the way, but then I thought, there's nothing in this case that has been symmetrical. There's nothing in this case that has flowed evenly. It's always been up and down, up and down, up and down. It's been an emotional roller coaster. So, to an extent, people have been traumatized by this case, and they don't realize it because you were steady every day. It's kind of like you get you get your wheels rolling, and then you're moving toward a purpose because the trial was the purpose. The jury hearing the evidence was the purpose. So I believe that anybody who's dealing with this, like you're stating, it could be trauma. It could be a form of PTSD. I mean, for normal people to hear about four people being butchered in the night, and we heard that Xana was chased down from behind and stabbed from behind. I mean, if you can't imagine that is real, those are the scary people.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? Those are the co-burrs. Those are the ones who have no connection to reality.
Right.
And there seems to be
Exactly.
a lot of them on YouTube. It seems to be a lot of them on YouTube. Y'all
And
want
I
me to
mean,
play?
I think Jeff made a statement today that it felt like graduation day. And I was like, yeah, I've already written my graduation letter. I mean, because that's sort of like what it felt like. It's like, okay, everybody write your graduation speeches and we're never going to see each other again. We're all going off to college. Well, hell, I don't want to go off to college. Look what we just watched.
Yeah. And maybe what you said rings true. I mean, 12, I do have a college age son. He was a freshman when this happened. And, now that it's all over, I don't mind saying it. My son is a brother at Sigma Chi. And so I got really, the whole thing was difficult, but,
Right.
I felt like, and I still feel like, from beginning to end, now looking back over all of the time that we've spent together, I feel like Brian Koberger had much more than than a the defensive team working for him. In the end, he had the prosecution and the judge. He had the whole damn system working for him. And I feel like who spoke for, William Bill Thomas, William over there, he acted like, I'm sorry, I thought it was crocodile tears when he mentioned the kids' names, and then he started crying. And he stood there as stiff as a board. Somebody stuff him and put him in a coffin, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
And then
Don't even give him a fucking coffin. Just stuff him.
yeah, exactly.
I mean, that y'all let it go. Let it go. Let it out. It's cool. That's what this panel's about tonight, and that's what the chat's about. You are free to say as you wish. Just don't bring other creators or anything into it. Get your emotions out. I mean, that's what it's for. You know what I mean? Like, type about your feeling, get it out. If you're pissed off, be pissed off. It's fine. It's fine. We gotta purge, we gotta let it go, because if you don't, it's just gonna eat at you. Every time you hear the other side with their stupid theories and stuff, you're just gonna it's gonna infuriate you because you're not able to feel like you have any closure. We gotta have closure in order to move on. I believe that we're gonna work together on other cases. I mean, I don't believe this is the end. I believe that this is the end of this case, but I see a lot of great things happening between our channels.
Yeah. Gage, I have to tell you, I'm probably not letting it go because I'm a middle-aged, pissed off, post-menopausal woman. I'm holding
Well,
on
that's
to
fine. That's
everything
fine.
to use against somebody later. Somebody is going to get my rage over this. I feel sorry for him.
But if you think about it, Lenny, think of what you've learned from this.
Oh man, it's been such a learning tool, Nina.
That's the thing about it is, I'm in no way like trying to take anything away from, today with the families and stuff like that. But if you think about as a creator, what we have learned as far as research, as far as judicial, as far as friendships, as far as ex friendships. The lessons that we have learned, good or bad. Because the
Yeah,
thing about it is, everything's a blessing, even the bad ones, because you go at them with the same respect because they both have purpose. I mean, and so lessons or blessings, it doesn't matter. You learn from it.
Right.
yeah.
Well, let me play a little bit more of this, and then we can talk about it some more.
Finally, I want to offer my apologies to all the families, including the victims' families, the families of the defendant, for the short notice for today's hearing, and I'm sure what must have been the hurried efforts to get here. I, like most everyone else, learned of this plea agreement Monday afternoon and had no inkling of it beforehand. Prior to that time, I was under the belief that this case was proceeding to trial, as had been indicated, and my staff and I were but busy continuing to work on preparations to have potentially 10,000 citizens of Ada County come to jury duty starting in mid-July with the questionnaire process in mid-July. It was, once I learned of the defendant's decision to change his plea in this case, it was important that I take the plea as soon as possible because of the extraordinary administrative efforts that were otherwise attendant to the process of this, getting this trial potentially underway on time, and including the significant process of bringing, again, potentially up to 10,000 jurors to come in and fill out juror questionnaires prior to the beginning of the voir dire process. And so it was important that we, if we're going to go down this road, do so expeditiously so that we can avoid those costs and expenses associated with that. Otherwise, if it was not going to result in a plea, or for some reason the plea were to fall through today, that we could continue diligently towards trial at the time specified. And so that obviously required that we act quickly. And so some folks may have not had the amount of time that we would otherwise allow for them to travel here. And so again, I apologize for that. I want to make people aware that during the hearing, if you are to leave the courtroom for any reason, you will not be readmitted during the hearing. Also, when we finish the hearing this morning, I ask that the public and media wait in their seats until the victims' families and the defendants' families and each of those counts. In addition, you would be potentially responsible for a fine of up to $5,000 to each of the victims of your crime to be enforced in the form of a civil judgment to operate as additional punishment. This is in excess of any restitution or fines that the court could order. And again, you may be required to pay restitution to the victims of the crime. You would be required to provide, as to counts 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, a DNA sample and a right thumbprint impression, and potentially pay for analysis of those samples. You would lose any right to possess, purchase, or carry a firearm, the right to serve on jury duty, the right to hold public office, and the right to vote. Do you understand the charges and all those possible consequences?
Yes.
You've heard the plea agreement that I talked about today. Do you agree with that plea agreement?
Yes.
And do you understand the nature of the charges that are that you've been charged with that I understand you're going to plead guilty today to?
Yes.
As as I indicated, I'm not bound by the plea agreement, but the plea agreement is for the maximum on each count. Do you understand that I'm not bound by the plea agreement?
Yes.
Has anyone promised you that I would be lenient or easy on you if you pled guilty?
No.
Has anyone threatened you or anyone close to you to get you to plead guilty?
No.
Is anyone other than the state's agreements with respect to the plea agreement, has anyone promised you anything in exchange for your plea agreement?
No.
Has anyone told you to be untruthful in answering my questions today?
No.
Has anyone offered you a reward of any kind other than the plea agreement in order to get you to plead guilty today?
No.
Are you pleading guilty because you are guilty?
Yes.
And counsel, obviously there have been a number of motions filed to suppress evidence in this case. Other than those filed, are there any other motions that you felt were available with respect to Rule 12?
No, Your Honor.
And Mr. Koberg, you understand that by entering the guilty plea in this case, you would be giving up your right to appeal any decision this court made, as well as your sentence.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Have
Phoenix,
you had enough time to decide whether or not to plead guilty?
Yes.
Are you pleading guilty freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
Given your choices, do you believe it's in your best interest to plead guilty?
Yes.
Have you discussed fully the matter of pleading guilty with your attorney, and are you satisfied with the advice you've received?
Yes.
Has your attorney advised you to your satisfaction about what your rights are, what your defenses may be, and what the possible consequences to you of your guilty plea are?
Yes.
Has your attorney done everything you've asked them to do?
Yes.
Are you satisfied with their representation of you?
Yes.
I have received a written guilty plea advisory.
so just to be clear, none of us in the chat, as long as and the panel guests, nobody heard him say no to any of those questions, right? Because that's going to be a way to spin this. He said no, and the judge ignored him. Nobody heard him say no, right? To any of those questions. And let me also clarify something that's going to come up here in a second. The judge says the maximum sentence that I read out to you was life for those 4 counts, 10 years for the burglary. It's under his discretion. Like he said, he's not bound to the plea agreement. So if he feels that life is not adequate for the charges, he can drop it down to 30, 40, 50 years, but they're going to be consecutive. They're going to be served consecutively. They're not going to be concurrent. So where people heard the 10 years, it starts off at 10 years. Those crimes, first degree murder starts off at 10 years in the state of Idaho, it sounds like, and goes all the way up to life. So don't be convinced that he's going to get 10 years for these murders. That would be the end. There would be riots. There would be there'd be people storming the jail to get him. I mean, you know. So what do y'all think about what he said so far, panel guests or chat? What do y'all think? I know that y'all watch this, and I'm not trying to rehash something that's already been done, but I want to know y'all's thoughts because I want to give you the opportunity to be able to discuss what we're talking or what we're
One of
listening
the
to.
things that I was glad of was when he asked him, "Have you talked to your attorney?" Yes. Has your attorney advised you? Yes. Are you satisfied with your attorney? And he said yes. Because I was glad that that happened because from the research I did last night, the only way that you could overturn the giving up the appeals waiver, the
Mhm.
only way, one of the ways, well, I mean, of course, one of the ways is like, new DNA or something like that. But as far as the legal way is judicial or whatever, is that, the ineffective counsel or something like that. And that could get rid of the no right to an appeal. And close in here, I'm sure she'll tell me, if I'm wrong or something like that. I go on her legal stuff. But I did read
Right.
last night that if he wasn't satisfied with the effectiveness of his attorney, that could get him that could get him a waiver as far as not having an appeal.
Right. You're right. And also, um, I lost my train of thought because I was reading the chat. To your question, Kel, I believe that the burglary is 10 years. I don't think that he would go down on that at all. Um, but all these charges are going to be consecutive. So Most of the time you serve things concurrent and you get out a lot easier. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Like the Menendez brothers, you know how when they were young, they got the sentence that they got, and all of a sudden, the sympathetic people in society said, well, they were young, they were this, they were that, they didn't know what was going on. Let's give them another trial to hope that they get out, they're rehabilitated. He's going to say there's a clause in Idaho law that discourages that. You can't go 20 years down the line and say, okay, well, Mr. Koberger has been good. He hasn't gotten into any trouble. Uh, let's look at his case again. That's what I took away from that. If I'm wrong, please correct me in the chat. What do you think, Leanie? Either one of you.
I'm so sorry. I'm making coffee.
That's fine. That's fine.
I think I echo all of that. I think that the way Idaho does have that set up, I think it's cool. We've seen it happen too many times down the road where, these assholes, sorry for my words, but
you're fine. You're fine.
Come out of the woodwork and just pull everything they can. Look, we know the cards he's stacked. He holds all the cards still. They have done nothing but in my view, they have done nothing but enable this monster. And I'm sorry, he is an admitted, it's not a jury that spoke for him. He admitted it. He owned this himself. We can't forget that. So he is guilty. And I don't think there should be any questions at all about that. Those little yeses, they came straight from his mouth. So, but they stacked the deck with him. I mean, he's got leverage, you guys. He didn't have to give up the weapon. He didn't have to give up his clothing. He's still in power. He's got all the power. He's got all the answers, and he's going to use it. We're going to watch this. He's going to use it many years down the line for his glory.
Oh yeah, I mean that's the thing. I think that's the reason that I'm so mad about it is because he's loving it. He's not sitting up there a beat little pup, y'all. That bastard is sitting up there reveling in his glory.
Yes, ma'am.
And the fact that Catherine Ramblin said last night that she'd be open to interview him and write a book.
Yeah, well, I will never buy another one of her books again.
You don't think that all this has been planned out in his brain? It is falling into place just like he wanted it. He may have not committed the perfect crime, but if this is how he wanted to live the rest of his life, it's falling into place.
But
Exactly.
the only thing about it is, the good thing is that the autism and stuff like that, I'm not going to say it was debunked, but it pretty much got rejected as far as taking death penalty off the table and stuff like that. So I guess in a way it sort of kind of got debunked. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because everybody's like, well, he's autistic. He'll go into protective custody or he'll go into, a special area of he may go into a special area, maybe an area he don't want to go. I mean, I think I might take my chances in the yard instead of the crazies. I mean.
Don't you go commit a crime in Idaho, Gina?
Oh, they wouldn't put me in there with him anyway. I'd have to go take it out on, what is her name? Lori Vallow.
Yeah. Fine, Lori. No, I think it just is so infuriating that he was left with this much power. I feel like at the very minimum, the judge should have said, look, produce the knife and produce the clothing. Let's prove this beyond a shut. Let's shut everything down. Let's prove it all. We'll meet back here tomorrow after my detectives had gone and retrieved all this, because Gage, I firmly believe it's all in a hole somewhere. I think he had the hole dug. I think when the phone was turned off, he went and got rid of, the clothing and the weapon, so that only he knows where it's at to use later, just in case. And that's how I would have handled it. I would have said, produce this and then we'll carry on. He had the power. The judge had absolutely was within his rights to say, produce all of this, Brian. And then we will come back tomorrow and we'll talk about this guilty plea.
And y'all, I have to admit, I got to bring this up because I've got to know if anybody's thought about it. Because now, when you look at the picture the next morning, y'all, that picture is so profound now. The
What are you
the
talking
selfie,
about?
the selfie that he took.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
after hearing today, I mean, it was like, okay, we all knew he was guilty, but we knew it. But today we knew it. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
He
and then
might as
when they
well
talk,
been flipping. He might as well been flipping everybody off in that selfie. That's what that
exactly. I
selfie is.
mean,
I mean,
today I went back and looked at it, and I was like, man, that's got a whole new meaning now.
yeah, yeah. He might as well been doing that. Might as well just been throwing the bird.
Yeah, I mean, it's like as Sunflower said, it's like 1,000 times more haunting.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
And then to know that Xana didn't go chasing up there. Xana didn't go hunting him. It was like Xana might have been just going to throw some trash away and ran into him as he came down the stairs. Just totally oblivious of what was going on.
Yeah, I will say this. I have always said that he didn't come there. He went, I believe he went for Maddie, and he
Yeah,
got some surprises along the way. And when he was coming back downstairs, he had no intentions of messing with Xana or Ethan.
right,
And they
right.
proved that by Ethan. He'd taken out Ethan while he was asleep in case Ethan was playing like he was asleep. Um, Xana ran into him. Oh man, it's so sad.
it
It's
is.
so sad.
But then you sit there and you think about Kaylee. She went just to show her car.
Yeah.
It's and that's the reason I tell everybody, y'all think about it. If is such a big word to just be two letters. If Kaylee hadn't have gone, if Xana hadn't have gone to the kitchen, if Ethan hadn't have spent the night. Well, you know what? Let's if it another way. If that bastard hadn't have been born,
Yeah. But you
Sure.
can't help but to look, I guess, at what little movements in our lives can change the trajectory of ourselves and so many people around us.
exactly. I mean, you've got Xana up there. She's on TikTok at 4:12. By 4:20, she's laying there dead. 8 minutes.
Mm.
That's how quick you can lose someone.
Wow.
Rebecca's comment right here. She says some creators are now saying he was scared, and that's why he took the plea. Well, you know what? He was man enough to take out people while they were in their vulnerable state, but can't take the consequences. He shouldn't be immortalized. He shouldn't be martyred. He should be. There shouldn't be any more mention of this piece of shit from here on out. There shouldn't. You get what I'm saying? I mean, honestly, do y'all agree or disagree?
I don't think he should be mentioned at all.
After today, I believe that it should be over. It should be, like I said, and I'm not trying to push my agenda on anybody. Grieving takes time, and that's what everybody's going through right now is grieving. They're grieving it. They're grieving it because it's been such an emotional roller coaster. You haven't really had time to breathe since you really realized on November 13th, 2022, till today, you haven't been certain 100% that this was the guy. Now that you're certain, it's like November 13th is catching up to 2025 today. And that's a lot of time. That's a lot of emotion. That's a lot of attachment. That's a lot of denial. That's a lot of acceptance. That's a lot of stuff.
Mm,
It really is, So don't be hard on yourself for feeling what you're doing, what you're feeling. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's okay. It's okay to grieve these kids. I get it. I get it. I mean, I have my own way to grieve and I have my own way to deal with emotional stuff like this. I might not cry, but I go to the gym and I pound it out on the weights. You know what I'm saying?
I think for me and my channel, we're not a um I hope it's okay to say, Gage, but for me and my channel, we're not a true crime channel. This was just a case. I mean, everybody on my channel is part of true crime somewhere, but it was
You're
just
fine.
a
You're
case
fine.
everybody was interested in. I was like, we'll set aside a day. I don't do true crime every day. I said, we'll set aside a
Okay.
day. We'll cover it. I'll figure this out. We'll figure it out together. And we did it for 20. This was our 22nd week of just actively being involved in it. And so I think for me, I'm gonna see it to the end as far as him being sentenced and him being put away. But I think I will
Right.
always follow it to an extent, like just like I did Bundy, and just like I did, I still do BTK. I'll check in every now and then, and if his daughter gives an interview, I always look for the interview. And so I think in that sense, I will always follow. And if I hear that, of course, he's got a book out, y'all, of course, I'm gonna be the first one commenting and saying, go ahead, write it, so you can pay restitution for this. But I don't think he's man enough to write it under his name. He'll use a ghostwriter or something so that
Yeah.
the money can't be taken from him for restitution. But for me, I don't like using his name, and the thing about me is that I never monetized anything I did on Coburger, I just didn't feel right about that. And I still, when I feel like it's something that to talk about, that's not just to talk about, but maybe a learning tool, or if I get pissed off again, which is highly likely, because I stay
Yeah.
pissed off, then yeah, I'm going to talk about it, but I would never use it as any kind of game.
Right. Well, I mean, there's some great comments in the chats going on right now. I mean, I believe that everybody's really allowing themselves to be open right now, And that's a wonderful thing. That's the part of the healing process. The dad, I believe that he'd been holding on to all that for all this time and really didn't realize it until the last couple days. Steve, I believe that he really thought he was over it, but all that emotional stuff that's going on right now, he just needs to let it go. He needs to go scream in the middle of a field. He needs to go, do whatever he needs to do to let that out. It's okay. Nobody, he doesn't need to be strong anymore. It's okay for him to be okay for him. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're too strong for everybody while you're crumbling inside. It's okay to lean on others. Any thoughts before I continue the video?
Yeah. I mean, that's, I think what you just said, one of the things that I've always, when I talk to the parents, because I do those left behind, is when I go to them, it's like, look, we can sit quietly, we can kick, we can scream, we can cry, you know, whatever you need, because right now it's about their anger, it's about their grief, it's about their loss, because even though their child has been gone almost 3 years, today it was like all over again. It was like, I mean, and a lot of people can't understand that, but it was like ripping the Band-Aid right off. And
But
so,
also, Nina, think about this. Anytime that he's heard any of these documents, he hasn't been he hasn't been within reach of the person that killed his daughter.
oh, I mean, that's like, I don't know if y'all have noticed the one that is sitting like right behind. I think it's Xana's dad. Because at first I thought it was Steve, but Steve's got on a white button up. But
Yeah.
there's a dad that's sitting right there that is so focused on Koberger that we were literally sitting there watching to see if he was going to like go over the thing. I mean, and I think it's actually Xana's dad.
I think so too.
And I mean,
But
he stays fixated on him the whole time.
I mean, I believe there's not one person on that side behind the prosecution that wouldn't have taken him out if they would have had the opportunity today.
Right. Right.
There's not one of them that wouldn't have taken that opportunity.
Exactly.
You know? So let me continue playing this.
Questionnaire that is purported to be filled out by you. Did you fill that document out?
Yes.
Did you understand the questions that you answered in this document?
Yes.
And are the answers that are outlined in this document your answers?
Yes.
Are those answers truthful?
Yes.
Did you sign the document?
Yes.
And this document outlines many of the rights that you have in this case. Should you not plead guilty, did you understand those rights?
Yes.
They include a right to a jury trial. Do you understand that?
Yes.
They include a right to the presumption of innocence. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You have the right to require the state to prove your guilt as to each element beyond a reasonable doubt. Do you understand that?
Yes.
They include a right to confront your accusers and cross-examine witnesses presented by the state, including by utilizing the subpoena power of the court to accomplish that. Do you understand that?
Yes.
You understand you would have a privilege against self-incrimination and a right to remain silent, meaning you would not be compelled to testify if you did not wish to, had you not pled guilty.
Yes.
You understand you're giving up that privilege and those rights that I've just outlined by pleading guilty.
Yes.
All right, I want you to understand what the state would have had to have proven at trial had you, to the crimes that you're pleading guilty to, had you, if you didn't plead guilty. Let me find the document. Hang on a second here. All right. So as to count one burglary, the state would have to have proven that on or about November 13, 2022 in Latah County, Idaho, you unlawfully entered a residence located at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder. As to count two, the state would have had to have proven that on or about that same date in Latah County, Idaho, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being, by stabbing Madison Mogan, from which she died. As to count three, the state would have had to have proven that on that same date in Latah County, at that same address, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Kaylee Gonzalez, a human being, by stabbing her, from which she died. As to count four, the state would have had to have proven that on or about that same date in Latah County, Idaho, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being, by stabbing her, from which she died. And then as to count five, also murder in the first degree, that on or about November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, Idaho, you did willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought, kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being, by stabbing him, from which he died. Do you understand those things the state would have had to have proven?
Yes.
Do you understand that by pleading guilty, the state no longer has to prove those things because you're admitting those things are true?
Yes.
You want to know what I was thinking every time he spoke? I was trying to hear in my head his voice saying, "It's okay, I'm here to help you."
Oh,
Trying to hear that. I know that's weird, but that's just how my mind goes.
no, I concur with that. Oh my gosh. Gage, can I just say this real quick? Because I know what's going to come up.
Go
Not
ahead.
with either or you or I or Nina probably, or many in chat, but I think people are going to run with the premeditation thing, right? I think we need to understand what premeditation is. Premeditation does not have to happen 6 months prior to a crime. Premeditation can happen within that instant, within a second that you just made the decision to actually murder somebody. That's all premeditation is. So I just think people are going to say, "Oh yeah, this is proof. It was the frat," because there's no way he could have premeditated to kill all these people. And Ethan too, if he hadn't thought about it, since they all had a supposed fight over at the frat house. So when you hear that, I just want you to be, have some knowledge backed up to you that premeditation can happen instantly. And I believe he went there armed and ready for whoever got in his way was going to die that night.
I agree with you 150%. I agree with you wholeheartedly on that. And
But
also I talk about the guilty mind, the mens rea, and that goes along with that. The individual goes in there with a premeditated mindset, that they're going to commit a crime. Then and you can prove the steps that were taken, which it sounds like the prosecution at best was able to do that, or they would have. I mean, if they would have continued their journey. I was speaking with my girlfriend earlier about this, and we've been talking about this case because she watches when I go live, and we're talking about the Dateline episode, and I said that's when it all fell apart. I believe that the state probably had all that evidence lined up, and Dateline ruined it for them. Not that that would have mattered one way or the other; they still could have pulled it off, but I believe that kind of took the air out of this whole case. There was too many leaks going on. The gag order wasn't doing anything because every other week there was something different over here on YouTube. There was the DoorDash driver. There was this, there was that, there was a childhood friend. There's all this stuff. I mean, like I said at one point, you can only hold pressure in so long before doop, doop, doop. You get what I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. But for me, I was just like, try the damn case, because we were going to hear about all that anyways. We already had in our mind it pretty much figured out. We just needed a couple pieces to our puzzle. But I think for the most part, people who really did this case with some sort of factual integrity, not throwing in conspiracy theorists and throwing in making the theories way into this, just factually, I think we kind of had it figured out. So I think it's a lame excuse to say,
Well, I'm
yeah,
not trying to minimize anything that's gone on. I want to put that out there. I'm not.
no, I didn't think you were, because other people are going to say it just like you said it, just so they don't have to blame Brian. or the prosecution or the defense or the judge. I'm sorry, I'm holding them all accountable. I'm holding every one of them accountable for giving him more power.
And you know what's sad is this case isn't the only one that this happens in. You know, look at the P Diddy case today.
Correct. Oh,
Look at that case.
it's just been so emotional. It's
And
been an emotional day.
that was a federal hearing. And you know what, guys? I've worked with the feds before, and their conviction rate is 98%. And for him to only get 2 charges out of the 5, it seems like our judicial system is seriously broken. Where the
And
criminal
starstruck.
where the criminal has more rights than the victim. And people used to say the opposite. Oh, the criminal has no rights. The criminal has no rights. Well, look at all the luxuries that they have. You know, Brian's going to get to go play on a tablet, write whoever he wants, joke and lift weights and eat whatever he wants and all this stuff, and not really have to suffer any consequences, which is, what kind of justice is that? Is that the justice that y'all been fighting for? Is that the justice that you want? We might as well just let everybody out of prison if it is. Because let them get out here and try to make it in the real world. You
I
know?
mean, I don't think I'm really upset over the plea deal
What?
because really the plea deal screwed him.
Okay. Well, tell me how.
How? Because he could have sat in isolation in a cell, living that up, reading his books or whatever for the next 20 years and had 40 appeals and been in the limelight for the next 40 years before he got executed. Instead, now he's walking into prison justice and won't last no time.
I've heard many people say that, Nina. It depends on where it goes. I don't know how the prison system is ran in Idaho. I know
Well,
here in
I know
Texas,
that the maximum security is, I mean, the maximum security prison, and I assume that's where a quadruple murderer would go.
nothing's guaranteed. It obviously in Idaho. I mean, I don't know.
This is true. They might send him to rehab.
I mean, I honestly thought that that was going to be a consideration when the judge was talking. I thought he was going to say, "Well, we're going to send you to a medical unit based on your instability, mental capacity, whatever." I hope
That's at the maximum security prison.
but still, they're isolated away from general population. You know what I mean?
Oh wow. Texas says he won't be in general population.
He's not. He's not going to be in Gen
You
Pop
are
right off
kidding
the bat.
me.
No, he's not.
He is not going to be out there in the yard with all those people.
No,
Oh, now see, that pisses me off.
no, he's not.
Y'all just ruined my night.
Well, let's continue on, and then we'll get a chance. No, I mean, do you want to speak? Okay. I mean, but the same token, in prison, if you want to get somebody, you're going to get them. So it doesn't matter if you're protected 24/7 by the guards. All it takes is a diversion. Look over here. Pop, 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 pop. By the time you turn back around, he's bleeding out. You know what I mean?
Wow.
This says final part. Is this the ending part, Leanie?
This is when, emotional thing on the prosecution is going to read. Oh my God. That, y'all, that is the worst thing that I think could have happened today is for him to have to read. After 2.5 years, you don't know what happened. You're the lead prosecution. You could not stand up there without a piece of paper. You had to read it. Did you know I could have stood up there and said it without reading it?
Right.
Yes. They should have made Brian just shoulda, coulda, woulda. Let me shut the hell up.
You're fine. Say what you're going to say.
I just think, again, going back to he just got off so easy. The prosecution, the judge should have made Brian, like in BTK, the judge named a name. BTK had to give exactly how he did it, what went down, and then they moved on to the next one. I think it would have been, I think the family would have been, thank you for that. He had to say what happened to my loved one in the very least. And all he had to say was yes, yes, yes. Fuck you and I'm so sorry. And your yes. Shove those yeses straight up your ass. He got off easy. And I saw a picture of him staring right into the camera right before I went to bed because I couldn't handle life anymore today. And then another picture of Anne leaning over and smiling towards him. Oh, y'all, I just wanted to come undone. And I think I did come undone. It was terrible.
She was smiling throughout the whole thing.
She made her million.
Yes, she
I
did.
want to also make, for the record, the defendant has provided with the guilty plea advisory form a document entitled Written Factual Basis that purports to have the defendant's signature dated 1 July 2025. Did you sign that document?
Yes.
And did you agree with the written factual basis that is included there?
Yes.
And then let me ask you, did you, on November 13th, 2022, enter the residence at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho, with the intent to commit the felony crime of murder?
Yes.
Did you, on November 13th, 2022, in Latah County, state of Idaho, kill and murder Madison Mogan, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation and malice aforethought?
Yes.
Did you on or about that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Kaylee Gonzalez, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, and with premeditation and malice aforethought?
Yes.
And did you on that same date in Moscow, Idaho, kill and murder Xana Kernodle, a human being?
Yes.
And did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought?
Yes.
And then on or about November 13th, 2022, again in Latah County, Idaho, did you kill and murder Ethan Chapin, a human being?
Yes.
Did you do that willfully, unlawfully, deliberately, with premeditation and malice aforethought?
Yes.
I would ask this at this time to provide its recitation of its factual basis had this case gone to trial.
Thank you, Your Honor. Your Honor, the organization of the recitation is different than what I think the court and the public may be familiar with from the probable cause affidavit and other documents. The state's evidence, as an overview, would show that back in March of 2022, when the defendant was residing in his parents' residence or residing back in Pennsylvania, his home state, he purchased online a K-bar knife and sheath with an Amazon gift card that he had purchased shortly prior to the purchase of the knife, sheath, and sharpener. Jumping ahead, the end of June of that year, the defendant, Mr. Koberger, moved from Pennsylvania to Pullman, Washington, which is right across the state line from Moscow, Idaho, for the purpose of pursuing a PhD in criminal justice at Washington State University. The state's evidence would indicate that beginning July 9th of 2022, Mr. Koberger's phone began connecting to a cell tower that serves the area of the 1122 King Road residence in Moscow, Idaho. Now, I will acknowledge for the court and all present that there are many residences in that area. It's a dense population of mostly college-related occupants. Between July 9th of 2022 and November 7th, the defendant's phone connected to that particular tower during late night, early morning hours, 10 p.m. to 4 a.m., on approximately 23 times. Now, I will acknowledge also, we do not have evidence that the defendant had direct contact with 1122 or with residents of 1122, but we can put his phone in that area on those times. In the interim, on August 22nd of 2022, Lake Tahoe County Sheriff's Deputy Darren Duke conducted a traffic stop in the early morning hour or late evening hours, about 11 p.m. On the.
So now we know where they got the no license plate from that traffic stop. I was watching something today, and you know what they did? They ran back this individual's name and how many times he'd been stopped. They looked back on the camera on the body cam, and guess what? It was the same truck that he used at the commission of the crime. And I thought to myself, no wonder they didn't want to show that, because that's how they found out that he didn't have a front license plate. It had nothing to do with the cameras. What do y'all think about that? You think I'm reaching a little bit? Did y'all go to sleep on me? I know there's not a delay up here on the panel.
No, sir. I'm just giving Nina. I feel like I'm talking too much, so I'm giving Nina a chance to
No,
talk.
you're fine. You're fine.
Lainey, believe me, that they will hear me so many times. So you just go right ahead.
No, I'm glad that they did point that part out of it, because we were wondering at what point did they get the front of his car like that. So I did appreciate that little bit of tidbit that old William gave us.
Yeah, I mean, the Richard, thank you so much for being here, brother. Nina, any thoughts before I continue on?
I'm good.
Okay.
West side of Moscow on the Moscow-Pullman Road. This was a traffic stop of Mr. Koberger's car, which turned out to be a 2015 white Hyundai Elantra with Pennsylvania plates. During the course of the traffic stop, Deputy Duke was able to obtain Mr. Koberger's name, Brian Koberger, his phone number, and his address, which at that point was an apartment address in Pullman. We then moved to the early morning hours of November 13th, 2022. The state's evidence would show that early morning hours on that day, Mr. Koberger's phone left his Pullman residence, which is an apartment in kind of the central northwest part of Pullman. That phone was then subsequently turned off at approximately 2:54 a.m. and remained off until approximately 4:48 a.m. on Sunday, the 13th of November. The state's evidence would include a trial, video surveillance of a business on the Moscow-Pullman Highway, just across the state line from Moscow. It would show a vehicle matching the.
Is there an echo? I'm hearing an echo. Is there an echo?
I know at one point when we were watching it today, it was the courtroom's echo that was happening.
Oh, okay.
Like when you
Okay.
turn off the court, I don't hear the echo anymore.
Okay. Well, I was just wondering if it was me. All right. Well, we'll deal with it. Chat, I think Annie Elise had the same problem. So I was watching hers a little bit, and she had the same issue.
Description of the defendant's Hyundai Elantra entering Moscow at approximately 3:02 a.m. Compiled surveillance that the investigators put together from businesses and residents then show the defendant's car, the white Elantra, as I've described, circling the 1122 King Road area, that neighborhood, starting around 3:30 or so in the morning. Comes into the immediate area of 1122 King Road, which is actually on a dead end, and then leaves several times. At approximately 4:05 that morning, the defense car had entered that area, was leaving, stopped at the intersection of King and Queen Road, did a U-turn, And the state's evidence would show that defendant's car came back and parked behind and above the 1122 King Road residence. The state believes that its evidence would then show that the defendant entered the residence of 1122 through the kitchen sliding door on the back side of the residence, which is the side of the residence that would face the area above where the defendant's car was parked. Defendant entered the residence, went to the 3rd floor, and with a knife, killed Madison Mogan and Caitlin Gonzalez. The defendant, as he left that room, for whatever reason, ended up leaving, or the sheath for a K-bar knife was left on the bed next to Madison Mogan's body. And I can jump ahead. That sheath was tested by the Idaho State Police Forensic Lab, and single source male DNA was found on the snap of that sheath, as well as blood from both Kaylee and Madison and other trace evidence. But it's important to note single source male DNA was on the snap of that sheath. The state's evidence would show that Xana Knodel was still awake at this time. In fact, had taken a DoorDash order not long before this started. Her room was not on the 3rd floor. It was on the 2nd floor on the west side. As the defendant was either coming down the stairs or leaving, he encountered Xana, and he ended up killing her, also with a large knife. Ethan Chapin, Xana's boyfriend, was asleep in their bedroom, in her bedroom, and the defendant killed him as well with a large fixed-blade knife. Each victim suffered multiple wounds. I will state for the record that there is no evidence there was any sexual component or sexual assault on any of the victims. I want to make that clear so there's no speculation. There were 2 other roommates in the house, and they were already asleep. During the course of this,
You know what's sad? Is he's reliving this right now and probably enjoying the shit out of it.
Oh,
That's
wow.
what's sad.
I
That
didn't
is
even
what's
give that any
sad.
thought.
Huh?
I said I didn't even give that any thought like that. That's, oh,
Yeah.
wow. Wow.
He's listening to him walk through his crime and he's reliving it, enjoying the shit out of it.
You're right. You're right. Oh, God, that's so sickening. Nina, I hope
Yeah.
you're okay.
She said her little dog's having a seizure.
Oh, okay. God bless him.
I'm sorry. Oh, look, a squirrel said, yep, he's probably got a massive boner.
That's
Maybe
so
that's why
sickening.
Ann was smiling at him.
Could you imagine him just sitting there listening to all of it and then like correcting in his brain, or adding to in his brain, well, y'all didn't know this really happened and that you should have seen. Oh my God.
Yeah.
PKC, exactly.
Yes, that's not right. That's not how that went down.
Oh, I never even gave that any
Wow.
thought. That is nuts.
Wow.
Hey, have you saw? I just had a thought that
Okay.
if it was not for Ethan and Xana, he may not have ever have gotten caught.
How's that?
Well, I
Especially
mean,
Xan.
because if he had gone in there and say Kaylee wasn't even there, if he had gone in there, say kidnapped Maddie and left with her and everything, I mean, this could have gone an entirely different way, and nobody ever knew who he was.
Well, he definitely he had some surprises. Hi, Richard. Good to see you. He definitely had some surprises. I think you could be right. If his plan was not foiled by all these other intruders, God, those intruders into his plan,
Right.
he
That's what I'm
probably
saying is
wouldn't
the
have
sheath,
left.
the sheath wouldn't have been left. I mean,
You're
it could have
right.
just been a clean break.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Because listen, let's just face it, you guys. He knew Dylan and Bethany were in that house. He stalked the house. And I know
Right.
Idaho doesn't like to use that term, but I'm using it. I'm calling it for what it is. He
Fuck
stalked the house.
Idaho.
You got to go?
No, I said fuck Idaho.
Oh, yeah. They don't like the term, but it is what it is. He stalked the house. He knew who lived there. He knew whose bedrooms were what. If he had planned to kill everybody in that house, he knew the other roommates were there. He just went for one person, and damn, there was Kaylee. And then damn, Xana had to be up. And damn, she ran in a room and Ethan's asleep. You're right. He would have had more of his brain together. His brain got jumbled in all of the shit that was thrown at him.
And people always want to say, well, why didn't he kill Dylan? I believe that think about him running a 6-minute mile. Think about this. If in your head, you know what 6 minutes is, right? You know in your head, you've ran 6-minute miles. You know, tick, 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 tick. 6 minutes. I got to give myself 6 to 8 minutes to get out of this house. Tick, 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 tick. That's why people won't believe that it happened so fast. He had been rehearsing this. I mean, I'm not going to say in my opinion. That's what I think.
I think it
Oh
too.
no, let me tell you that you know how I feel about it, Gage. He's been planning this for 10 years.
Yes,
He has
ma'am.
been rehearsing this. He's been fantasizing about it. And he had it so methodical in his head that he could have done it 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and out of there.
Yeah,
But
he
when
was.
Kaylee was in the bed, his black and white thinking that needed to go to that gray thinking couldn't do that. And that's when the chaos happened.
Right,
Yeah,
because how many of you are bound by the clock where let's say you work in a place where you do 15-minute checks. You do that every day, and your mindset, even while you're at home, 15 minutes like that. You can even look at the clock and be like, damn, I'm right on point. You could be walking somewhere and be like, okay, it's about 15 minutes. Let's go here. You look at your watch, you're right on point.
right.
You acclimated with this muscle memory.
April's right. I mean, he's been preparing his body clear back in Idaho. He no matter what method he went with, whether it was substance abuse or just plain out good old fashioned exercise, he's been preparing his body for this marathon.
Yeah. A quick one. Why would it be a long killing? It wouldn't have been. Listening to Bill Thompson give that, and I've always said that in my lives, I've said people are going to be disappointed when they hear the trial and it's only the amount of time he was in the house or before the house, going in the house, and him leaving and how they got to him. That was it. No more. Nothing more, nothing less. So, he's basically outlining it right now. But that's just my thoughts. I'll get back to the video. Anything y'all want to say before we start back up?
I just want to say that you have an excellent chat. All these different minds and thoughts and just putting it out there. I love your chat. You guys are great. You guys are great.
Well, I appreciate that. Thank you. You do as well. It hasn't always been like this, Leanie.
We have our slow nights, don't we?
Yes.
It's like, fuck it, I'm getting off here. I can talk to myself in the mirror.
There's too many other creators on right now. They're being taken up by their
Yeah.
choice of listening to whatever they're listening to. So they're not bothering with us right now.
Yeah.
Or otherwise there'd be more people in here arguing about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And let me just say this right now, and I hope that y'all hear me loud and clear. Brian Koberger is not a Fed. He didn't get whisked off into protective custody. I mean, witness protection. The alien didn't come beam him up. He wasn't an informant. He wasn't any of that. You cannot stand up in a court of law and admit to breaking the law, it would have never gotten this far if he was. He admitted today to breaking the law, 4 counts of quadruple murder and 1 count of burglary. There's no way in hell that he would be able to be signing this plea if he was under the protection of the federal government. If you think that, you're a fucking moron.
Louder
Well,
for
I would
those in
like
the
to
back.
say that he may, we'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But today, he is a convicted murderer. So if he was a Fed, if he was an informant, if he was something, he ain't anymore.
Not just a convicted murderer, he's a self-proclaimed. He's the one that put it there. He was not found guilty by a juror of his peers. He is a self-admitted murderer, which plays right into his deck of cards.
Yeah. And let me say one more thing. There wasn't a second perpetrator. If there was a second perpetrator, he would be coming right along with Brian. After Brian pleaded, chances are that dude would have pleaded too. And if he was Kopaka, you should be ashamed of yourself for giving somebody with that kind of mental history and fighting for our country and our liberties to put his name out there in something as heinous as this. You should be ashamed of yourself. Why don't you
Amen.
put yourself in the damn crime? None of you are putting your damn self in the crime. You know, let's put your stuff out there. Why don't you dox yourself every day? Let us
Amen.
know exactly what type of person you are. You're so busy doxing and talking about these people for 2 years and 7 months. We really, but get pissed off because people, when they find out about you, then all of a sudden they're ignorant and they're this and they're that. It doesn't work both ways. Either you're all about it or you're not about it. So,
And I have a question for anybody in here that's military. If you if you're military, how do you sit and try to railroad a veteran that got injured fighting for our rights and military and everything, and another, oh, I'm not even gonna get started on it. But anyway, y'all don't listen to him. Don't listen to William. William is a retard.
or what did JB Gunner say? He's a dummy. Snack kicker. Let's continue on. Thank you so much for y'all being up here on panel with me.
One of those roommates awoke, looked out her door, not knowing what was going on, and saw the defendant, who was dressed in black with a black belt cob on, holding some sort of container in his hand. And she saw him leave the house through the direction of the kitchen where that sliding door is that I mentioned before. At approximately 4:20 that morning, so this would have been 15 minutes or so later, Finn's car is seen on a surveillance camera for 1112 King Road, which is immediately next door to the west of 1122, leaving the area at a high rate of speed. And if the court were to see that, or anybody in this courtroom would see that, you can see the car almost loses control as it makes the corner, heads north, and then turns to go south on Walinta, which is one of the only ways to get out of that part of town. The evidence would show that following that, the defendant in his Elantra drove south of Moscow. We know that he drove on the back roads because there are surveillance cameras on the main highways, Highway 95, that would have picked up the defendant's car if he'd gone that route. And they did not show the defendant's car on that route during the time. So we know that he went through a variety of back roads in very rural, isolated part of Latah County. About 4:48 that morning, the defendant's phone comes back on. And the evidence will show that that phone was located south of Moscow, likely at a side road intersection with Highway 95. From there, the defendant's phone activity tracks heading back north towards Pullman, Washington, where the defendant lived. About 5:26, starting approximately 5:26, various surveillance cameras in Pullman, Washington pick up the defendant's vehicle as he enters Pullman from the south and heads north and slightly west towards his apartment, where he arrived at approximately 5:30 in the morning. Later that morning, this Sunday, the 13th of November of 2022, Mr. Koberger's phone returned to the area of King Road. We don't know exactly what he did, but it returned to that area. It's about 9 o'clock in the morning. He was there for about 10 minutes and then returned to his Pullman residence. About 9:30, the state's evidence will show, evidence taken from the defendant's phone, that he took a selfie of himself on his phone in what appears to be the bathroom of his Pullman apartment with a thumbs up. The defendant's phone then went to the Lewiston-Clarkston Valley, approximately 30 miles south of Moscow and Pullman. And the defendant is actually seen with his car at various businesses down there. This area is the confluence of the Clearwater River and the Snake River. Lewiston is Idaho's seaport. Large bodies of moving water down there. In addition to tracing the defendant's activities, as I've just outlined, on the 13th and leading up to the 13th, the state's evidence will show that following Sunday, November 13th, 2022, business records show that the defendant began searching for a K-bar knife and a K-bar knife sheath, as the state believes, to replace the one that was left at the scene of the murders. The evidence also will suggest that there were at least attempts by the defendant to delete or alter his purchase history on Amazon, where all these transactions had occurred. Later that week, the state's evidence will show that Mr. Koberger went to what we would call DMV, motor vehicle licensing here in Idaho, in Pullman, to change his car registration from Pennsylvania to Washington. That's of note because Pennsylvania cars do not require a front license plate. The vehicles seen on the surveillance cameras of the defendant's car showed it didn't have a front license plate on it. At the time of the traffic stop by Deputy Duke in August, it was Pennsylvania plate, no front license plate. Mr. Koberger proceeded to finish his semester of studies at Washington State University and returned to Pennsylvania for the holidays. Law enforcement at this point were aware of Mr. Koberger, had been accessing information about him, were trying to find him. They located him in Pennsylvania, and they conducted what's called a trash pull. During the nighttime hours, agents of the FBI, who assisted immensely with this case, working with the sanitation department back in this neighborhood in Pennsylvania, took trash that had been set out on the street for collection, sent the contents of that from the Pennsylvania residence of the defendant's parents to the Idaho State Forensic Laboratory, where the lab experts there were able to identify DNA on a Q-tip as coming from the father of the person whose DNA was found on the knife sheath that was next to Madison Logan's body in the bed. Subsequently, an arrest warrant was issued here in Idaho, and a search warrant was issued in the state of Pennsylvania with the assistance not only of the FBI, but the Pennsylvania State Police. Mr. Koberger was arrested at his parents' home to return to Idaho. Upon his return to Idaho, a DNA sample was taken from him, and it matched the DNA found on the knife sheath next to Maddie's body at the crime scene.
Well, how the fuck did that happen? Does that make it an open and closed case right there? They took a DNA from him. It matched the DNA on the sheath. Why is that so hard for people to understand, ladies? Or anyone in the chat? Why is it so hard for people to understand that?
I'm sorry, I missed it, Gage. I'm sorry.
I didn't know that Dylan was in the room.
I didn't know that either. I was a little bit floored, taken back when they said that in chat.
Wow.
That is
Wow,
so, so sad.
That's
That
brave. That's
it is
brave.
brave. And you know, she's been drugged through hell, worse than BK, worse than anybody. This had to have felt, I hope, some sort of relief, like some kind of release she felt in that moment. Because
You know, I
people are
wouldn't have blamed her if she would have blurted out, "Fuck you, motherfucker."
yes.
You know, I mean, seriously, I would not have blamed her one bit. If she would have went to jail, I would have posted her bail.
Oh yes, yes.
I would have.
Listen, it takes a lot of strength in class to sit there after you have been drugged by social media all over the world, and to be so young and handle it with that much grace in class. I'm 55 years old. I'd come out swinging.
Yeah. I didn't know she was there. I didn't know she was there. Wow.
Terrible.
I can tell the court, and the public, the weapon itself, the knife, has not yet been recovered. I can tell the court that the defendant's apartment in Pullman was searched, as well as his office. Spartan would be a kind characterization. There was virtually nothing there. Nothing of evidentiary value was found. And of course, we are now talking 6-8 weeks after the time of the killings. In Pennsylvania, the defendant's car was seized, and it was actually pretty much disassembled internally. And it also had been cleaned. There was a bucket of cleaner right beside it. I think we can all look to our own cars, you know, and those compartments in the doors, you can try to keep them clean where you put stuff. There's always some degree of crud in there. They were spotless. The defendant's car had been meticulously cleaned inside. And the state would present to the jury that that was part of the defendant's plan in covering up this. The defendant has studied crime. In fact, he did a detailed paper on crime scene processing when he was working on his pre-doctorate degrees, and he had that knowledge and skill. So, Your Honor, at the end, the state submits the evidence that I've given just a quick overview of, and that to present in court would consume weeks, which the state is prepared to do and has been prepared to do, would show that as the defendant has just admitted and pleaded guilty on November 13th, 2022, excuse me, Mr. Koberger entered the residence of 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. He did that with the intent to kill. We will not represent that he intended to commit all of the murders that he did that night, but we know that that is what resulted, and that he then killed intentionally, willfully, deliberately, with premeditation, and with malice forethought, Manny Mogan, Katie Gonzalez, Chapin, and Santa Cruz. Thank you.
Thank you.
Gage, can I just tell him to fuck right off with those fake
All right,
crocodile
he's done.
fucking
Yes.
tears?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can.
The only emotion he showed was fucking fake when he mentioned the names. I'm sorry. It could have been real. I don't know. But I'm going to be judgmental. I'm not a judgmental person, but I judge him for that. Don't show me those tears after you can just stand there like that. And because you're mentioning their names, fuck you. We felt nothing.
Yeah. Do you believe the victim impact statements are going to be moving? I mean, do you believe that they're. I wonder if Dylan's going to get up there and talk.
Oh, wouldn't that be wonderful? I think it would be a good release for her. I think I think any one of the families that just stood up and said, thank you to the police or whatever, and then they sat back down, I think I'm still going to be emotional over that because they're allowed to say whatever they feel on their hearts. And that's so important. I've never
Well,
lost a child or a family member, praise God, to any kind of violent crime. But when I think about it, it just gives me chill bumps. But it has to be some sort of release to be able to face the person who has admitted to killing your loved one.
I mean, the thing that I noticed while all this was going on, while he was reading this, BK didn't have a single. He was staring at him the whole time. Did not break trance. Did not have any kind of emotional stuff going on in his face. Like he didn't grimace. He didn't shake his head. He didn't do any of that.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Nothing. Unmovable. He's a monster. He's a he doesn't work off he doesn't work off emotion other than his own I don't think he feels any guilt or any sorrow or anything like that. I think he just works very much robotic, and he's got no soul. You have to have a soul to be able to feel some sort of empathy or sympathy or a tinge of something.
Well, one thing that I can tell you, the Richard, is you have not killed 4 people, and you have not sat in that room. You're in here with us, and we're glad that you are. You're welcome here. We are not saying anything against autism or anything like that. So
Exactly.
if you're taking it as that way, we're not talking about you. We're talking about Brian. And even if you can relate to him, you're not there as him. You get what I'm saying? You are here with us, and you're okay. I
Yeah.
hope you don't take it as a personal attack, because intend I never intend to do that to anybody in the chat. So please do understand, okay? And that's fine. That's fine. We agree to disagree, and you know that. Welcome back. I'm glad that you're back in here and you're able to get your thoughts out. That's what tonight is all about. It's not about fighting. The fighting never got us anywhere in these 2 years and 7 months. It never did, and it never will. All I'm saying is, based on what I was seeing while Bill Thompson was reading that, he seemed to have been enjoying that. I could be wrong, but to me, I've seen a lot of individuals recreating their crimes when you start to talk about it. The same way as you're talking about their past drug use, they start euphorizing it. Like during my individual sessions, I would be talking about past drug use, past criminal history. If they were proud of it, it would take them right back into that moment. And you could see the transition right in front of you, and it's like, wow, wow, you know. So let's continue on. We lost Nina. I don't know where she went.
The state's proffer, and importantly, based upon defendants' explicit admission to committing these crimes, the court finds there is a factual basis. Therefore, with respect to count 1, burglary, felony, how do you plead, Mr. Kohlberger, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count 2, murder in the first degree, as it relates to the murder of Madison Mogan, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count 3, as it relates to murder in the first degree for the murder of Kaylee Gonzalez, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count 4, the first degree murder of Xana Kernodle, a human being, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
As to count 5, the first degree murder of Ethan Chapin, a human being, how do you plead, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Right. The court will find that the defendant understands the nature of the charges and each offense and the possible consequences to him of his guilty plea. The court finds that there is a factual basis for the plea, and that finds the defendant believes the plea to be in his best interest. I find that the plea was given freely, voluntarily, and was intelligently made. I accept the plea. I direct that it be entered. I'll continue the matter for sentencing in this case. I think it was mentioned on the call Monday afternoon, the defense wishes to waive a pretrial investigation. Is that accurate?
Yes, Your Honor.
The state also?
Yes, Your Honor, the state does not believe pre-sentence investigation is needed, given the evidence that is available. We want to, though, make sure that all of the victims have the opportunity to make statements to the court at sentencing.
Absolutely. And certainly both the state and the defense may present whatever sentencing memorandum and other documents you wish me to consider. The victims will be given an opportunity to provide the statements that they wish to at sentencing. Do we need more than one full day for sentencing?
I do not believe so, Your Honor. Obviously, we have numerous victims, and we have victims who share unique perspectives on this, and we want to make sure that they all have time to express their feelings to the court. But I believe that if we can start perhaps 8:30 or so in the morning, that we should be able to complete it all in one day.
Defense agree with that in terms of the time frame?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So as it happens, we have some time reserved in this case in July and August. The week of July 22nd is available. I don't know if that's too soon for the parties or the next week, the week of August 4 is available. Any preference?
Your Honor, we're prepared as soon as the court wants to schedule it.
The state, I believe, would be prepared on the 22nd. We've told the victims' families that we're looking at approximately those dates.
All right. So because of the plan to bring in so many jurors to fill out questionnaires, I had ordered that no other trials could take place in this courthouse the week of July 22nd. And so we will use that in terms of the sentencing date because of what I'm sure will be the significant interest of the media and the public and the logistics that will be required to make that happen. Without trials going, it'll be a lot easier to do that. So let's pick that week. Why don't we pick July 23rd with the idea that if for some reason we don't finish, we could continue into the 24th. We'll start at 9 in the morning. Does that give your team enough time, Sandra? 9 in the morning? All right. Any concerns with that date?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
No, sir.
All right. Any reason why I should not rescind the non-dissemination order at this time?
You're right. I think that given the history of this case, it would be best if that remained in place through sentencing. So we have time to make sure there's the ability to completely answer questions. That would be the state's preference and recommendation.
We'd have no objection for the order to remain in place.
All right, I will, at this point, the idea to keep it until sentencing, at which time it would be withdrawn in order to give the parties the space and time to prepare to meet what I'm sure will be the deluge of media requests. That's at least my preliminary decision at this point. We can always revisit if it seems to be, for some reason, I should. That said, obviously, I don't think the defendant, a bond was ever set for the defendant. Were it would be revoked. The prior order allowing him to come in civilian clothes is revoked, given his plea and no longer the presumption of innocence. And in fact, now the actual conviction for the crimes. He will continue to be held at the jail pending sentencing. Is there anything else to say?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
I assume that the trial date will be vacated and those 4 jurors will be released.
The trial will be vacated, and I'm sure that the jury commissioner will get word to those that receive their summons that they won't be required to attend. So that said, again, if you would all please wait for the parties and the victims' families and others to leave the courtroom before you do, I would appreciate it. And with that, we're adjourned. All right, please.
It's just you and I, Lane.
Wonder
Just
what
you and
happened
I.
to Nina.
I don't know where she went. She said her phone was overheating or something. I don't know.
Oh, bless her.
It's just you and I.
I
So,
did. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
so what do you think about all that?
You
On with
know,
the show, right?
yeah, on with the show. Everybody knows that was in my chat today that it was very emotional, not just for me, for the whole chat that has been there, the whole time that we've covered this case. And I hope I'm finally seeing some clarity where I can be more objective towards it and not so emotional towards it. I'm looking forward to hearing victim impact statements, to see how things are going to unfold. I'm looking forward to seeing him in some prison garb because I noticed he had a nice new haircut today. So, I'm looking forward to the days to come.
Yeah. As of today, he is a convicted individual, right? I mean, or do they have to sentence him first?
Now
You know,
he's a
I
convicted,
should know that. I should know that, but I don't for some reason.
yeah.
Flo, can you help me out?
Well,
Is he officially
the judge
what?
said at the end there that they had, I guess the defense had said, motioned the court to let him attend his sentencing phase in street clothes, and the judge said that is revoked. He is now guilty of this crime, self-admittedly. So the next time we see him, he's going to be pretty in orange or yellow, whatever their color is.
Yeah, because after they sentence him, he'll go back to the county and wait to pull chain. You know what I mean? And that means that he'll wait for the little gray bus or whatever color it is over there to take him to the penitentiary to diagnostics.
Yeah.
You know, and we've talked about that in some other lives I've had that he will go. Oh, I was just asking if the fact that he signed today and admitted guilt to all those crimes, he effectively a convicted felon as of today or when he's sentenced. Um, so he will go into diagnostics and then he'll get his number. Then he'll go on to the ID unit, whichever one that they assigned him to. Somebody said, "Do you think he will be in danger in prison for his crime?" Not sure many prisoners. Well, the thing about prison, it's different than people really think. Um, if somebody goes to take him out, it won't be due to what he did, more likely, unless it's a family member that he runs into or a friend of a family member. Um, but if it's just a random guy looking to make a name for himself, who better to take out than Brian Koberger? Thank you, Rebecca. Have a great night. I understand that wholeheartedly. Thank you for
Hi,
spending your
Rebecca.
evening with us. So, if it's somebody just looking to make a name for themselves, then who better to take out than a high profile person that just came in off the street with a high profile case. You get a lot of notoriety that way in the penitentiary. And, then all of a sudden everybody knows you. You're the guy that took out Brian Koberger. But, he won't be in general population for a while. There's going to be a lot of things once he gets to prison that, just the formalities of it all. One thing the judge did say is they're not going to do a PSI, which is a workup of, all the stuff in his lifetime because there was no trial. You know what I mean? There's no need. They already have the evidence against them, and all the investigative process that went into all this. I'm sure they'll just use all that to transfer over. You know what I'm
I'm curious as to what prison he would go to. I would hope that it wouldn't. You bring him to Indiana. Bring him on into Indiana. We handle people here. We handled a Dahmer. We handle people here. Bring them on into Terre Haute.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you feel that way, Common Sense. What's going on? What's going on? We I hope that people aren't being not polite in here because we've had politeness all night. Um Mods, please make sure that people are being polite because we haven't had an issue all night. We're about to close out, so we don't want people's last memory of being in here. Um, One thing I do want to say, um, is even though we're done with this case, this channel still does true crime, and it's not about speculation. Most of the time, it's about facts. I do bring up the factual basis. I try to walk you through the crime scenes when I'm able. Um, oh Jesus Christ! Somebody just commented on this. He's not in jail. Okay.
Critical minds, yeah, but believe me, Richard Allen's going to be handled. The prison that he's in right now is about 20 minutes away from where I'm sitting right now. And that's not Terre Haute. Terre Haute is known. They've got him in, yes, a maximum security, but the maximum security he's in is not known for the violence that
Right.
happens in Terre Haute.
Right.
And
Mod,
that's
use
why
your
they've got him there.
wrenches if you feel you need to. I mean, you don't block people, but if people need to take a breath to calm their nerves or whatever, do what you need to do. We're almost done. Y'all need to chill out. Everybody's opinion is valid here. Like I said, everybody is good to vent tonight. So just don't attack other people. That's all we're asking. Everybody is open to say what they want to say. Just don't attack other people for saying something you don't agree with. I mean, it's simple as that. So I don't know. Lenny, can you answer? You said your channel is really not true crime. What is your channel? I mean, what is your channel? Is it Krama? Is it something else? I
Oh
mean,
no, we don't do drama in my channel.
okay.
No,
What are they
no.
classified? I mean, is it just a little bit of everything?
There's nothing off limits. There's nothing off limits. It's we've done I think we've done everything. I've got a couple mods in your chat right now that are from my channel, and I think there's nothing that we don't talk about and welcome. Even politics. We've at times had politics, and everybody was good about just disagreeing. But the thing with mine is that we could start on a topic and 15 minutes later be on to something else, and hopefully have a guy on panel with his shirt off, because we're middle-aged pissed off women. And no, I just said that basically I am. But it's a fun channel, and we talk about real
Right.
shit, and you're
Well,
okay to
that's
be
awesome.
yourself.
Well, I have some questions for you.
Oh,
Kind of switching
we're
switching
switching.
the gear.
Yeah,
All right, you ready to play?
I'm ready to play.
Tall or short?
Tall.
Um, Beef or chicken?
Beef.
Um, Half full or half empty?
I think I'm in the middle.
Okay, now I'm going to give you some names, and kind of like you asked me last night, I'm going to do the same for you.
Okay.
Brian Koberger.
Snake, deceptive, a good actor.
Okay. Um, Bethany Funk.
Sweet. Um, that one's hard because I don't know a whole lot about her. She's married
Okay.
now.
Okay. Jack Showalter.
Oof. Just from what I know about him, that's all I'm going off of, you guys, and his body language. I would say um cocky. Um yeah, that's all
Okay.
I got.
Okay. Well, we're playing a game. We played this game last night on Leanie's channel, and she was asking me some questions, so I thought I'd repay the favor. It's better to hear people answer on the spot because, they're more honest that way. Y'all can chime in as well if you like in the chat. Here's the next one. The grub truck guy, the guy that said people have fallen. Give me three things you thought about him when you first saw him.
Are we talking about the big guy or the guy who actually runs the truck was streaming that night?
Oh, the guy with the beard that was
Oh,
behind the cash
okay.
register.
Okay. Carrying a teddy bear and forthright.
Joe Vito.
Ooh, another hard one.
He's the bigger guy. He's the bigger guy.
Yeah, another hard one. I would say forthcoming with that one too, because he jumped right in and said, "Hold up, hold up." And I don't know. He kind of looks like he'd be a good time at a party.
Okay. Mama Chapin.
Oh, I'm gonna get some flack for this one, Gage, but that's okay. It won't be the first time. Controlling.
Okay.
And I'm gonna leave it there. Controlling.
Okay. Papa Chapin.
Sad. Controlled. Just sad.
Steve Gonzalez.
Complete badass. Mouthy.
Okay.
Takes no prisoners.
Christy Gonzalez.
The perfect wife to Steve, and mouthy.
Okay. Olivia.
Typical big sister. Again, a G through and through.
Okay. Dylan Mortensen.
Wow. Separate what we know from what she's been accused. She has to be, there's strength there. There has to be some kind of strength there. So I'm going to say strength. A typical college kid, resilient.
Now I'm going to ask you about the 4, okay?
Yeah.
Just don't think about this. Just answer.
Okay.
We'll start with Maddie.
Sweet, funny, flashy.
Sarah.
Sporty, funny, loving.
Ethan.
Sporty, funny, leader of the pack.
And Kaylee.
Beautiful, possibly spoiled, and adorable.
Enan Harsh.
Snake. And I'm going to leave it there.
Okay. um, let's see. Hunter Johnson.
Hero, protector. Those are the two big ones that come up to me.
Okay. I'm going to put these two together, Maisie and Hunter Chapin.
Vivacious, broken, strong.
Emma Bailey.
These are getting harder and harder, Gage. I went easy on you. Can I just leave that one be for a minute? I'd have to think about that one.
Okay. Boxer or briefs?
Oh yeah. Briefs all day. Slap it, flip it, rub it down. Let's go.
Hot oil or lotion?
Hot oil. I'm digging this now. Now we're getting the Alini effect going. Let's go. Let's go.
No, I'm not going too far. My girlfriend and I were kind of having this discussion afterwards. She's like,
Don't hang out with me, Gage.
plastic or glass?
Listen,
What?
I freaked out. I showed some glass ones on my channel. I was like, y'all, if anybody comes at me with that glass thing, oh no. Denied.
Melly Joe says hi, 12 gauge Leanie in chat.
Melly, hello, my friend.
You said beef, right? So let's see. Salad or nachos?
Nachos. Absolutely.
Italian food or Mexican food?
Mexican all day.
Trump or Biden?
Trump.
Chevy or Ford?
Oh, damn it. I was raised a Chevy girl. However, I am digging some of the Fords out there. I never thought I'd say that. That's a great one, Gage. You always need to use that on I said, you said. Yeah.
Jeff H says Starbucks or Dunkin'?
Neither. I think it's over. I would never spend that much on coffee.
If y'all have questions in the chat, put them in there. I'll read them. Paper or plastic?
Paper. I miss paper. Don't you miss the days, Gage, where you would go to the grocery store and you came out with those brown and we recycled. We covered our books. We knew what we were doing. I miss paper bags.
Well, you have a Sam's there in Indiana, I suppose.
Yes.
Sam's Wholesale. Well, they give you the box. They don't even give you a bag. They give you a box to load your stuff in.
Yeah, they can't be bothered to pay to give you bags. You got to bring your box. They even put them out by the shopping carts, right? Grab you a box as you go because you're going to need it.
Yeah. I already asked that question. She answered briefs.
No, I answered boxers. Did I answer briefs?
Oh, boxer.
I meant
You
boxers.
answered briefs. Thin crust or hand tossed?
Hand tossed all day. All day.
Well, my girlfriend doesn't wear any leather or lace, so She's like, why didn't you say neither? She's gonna kill me for that.
Well,
um,
you know, both have their place, right?
right. Right-handed or left-handed?
Right.
Okay,
Oh,
toilet paper. Toilet paper hang to the top, front, or hanged behind in the back.
oh, that's good. Toilet paper always has to be over the top.
Okay. I well, I don't know.
Come on down. You have to do it over the top. It looks
Yeah,
neater.
over the top is yeah, it's easier to get to. You're right, but they never do that in those containers in the restrooms
In
in
the
the store.
restroom,
They
they're
don't.
always under, and I'm always scared there's gonna be a spider to it. At least if it's over, it's right there. You can kind of toilet paper you could see through, so you could see if there's a bug on the underside of it.
So let me ask you: you're from Indiana, Hoosiers or Pacers?
Pacers.
Okay. Um, let's see. I'm running out of questions.
It's hard, right? That's why I
It
had it
is.
all in my book for you. Like I carry I this is just who I am naturally. I'm naturally a curious person. I'm curious about everything. So I always have I have a notebook in my purse and a pen at all times because I'll hear things from talking to people that I didn't know and I write it down really quick. I
Uh-huh.
probably look like the biggest nerd, but I keep notes. I write it down and then when I get home I'll stay
Here's a
up all
couple.
night researching.
Here's a couple questions. Aussies or Brits?
Lulu's a troublemaker, Gage. Don't just ignore that in chat. But I will say my very first supporters of my channel were the Aussies.
Okay. Mullet or bangs?
Bangs.
Okay. Van Halen or Van Hagar?
Halen. I'm old school, guys. I'm old school. I go way back. Big hair, the closer to Jesus. Yeah, that's me.
Did you grow up in the 80s, like late 80s? Were you or older than that?
I was born in 69, but I got married when I was 14 years old.
Okay, so
And
you would know this question. Breakdancing or papa locking?
oh, Poplar. Both have their place. I'm digging both. I'm amazed at both. I
Okay.
could never do either.
Okay. Ozzy or Motley Crue?
Motley Crue.
Okay. Um, let's see. Flip phone or smartphone?
Smartphone, although the flip phone is safer
You're
for all of
laughing,
us.
but my on call phone from work is a flip phone.
Well, the reason why I'm laughing is because we know a creator, and to this day, she does YouTube on a flip phone. She even got a new phone, Gage, and she bought a flip phone. Nobody could believe it.
It's easier to text on a flip phone. It really
I
is. You
I
see the
will have
little
to
three
agree.
things. Winning the lottery or finding your soulmate. That's from Jeff H.
I don't believe in soulmates. Winning the lottery, absolutely. I would open up.
Okay.
I would have an animal farm. I want all the golden retrievers, all of them in the world.
Are you a cat person or a dog person?
Mainly a dog person, but I do have a cat Wednesday.
Okay. Um,
Rizzo, hello, my friend.
I was wondering where is he seeing Lulu. I was on Nina's this whole time. Hey Rizzo, good to see you. Y'all train or airplane?
That's a good question too. I guess I would rather do a train, but I never have. I've only done an airplane. But a train
Ha-
sounds delicious.
Handgun or shotgun or rifle, whichever one.
I'm gonna take the shotgun. It does more damage. I only want to shoot once. Talk about it
Okay.
later.
K-bar or hatchet?
I think hatchet.
Okay. Um, heels or sneakers?
Oh, sneakers all day. I'm done with that heel shit. I like my back. Who are we trying to
Um,
impress?
mountains or beach?
Mountains all day. I hate the beach.
Okay. Um, let's see. Are you stable or scattered?
I'm both.
Okay. Um, winter or summer?
Can I go straight for fall?
No, that's not an option.
Oh, well, listen, engage me and bossy. Winter.
Okay, winter. Okay.
Mhm.
Chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Okay. Um, let's see. Tomato or tomato?
That's good. Tomato. People really do say tomato.
Potato or potato?
Potato.
Um, let's see. Night owl or early riser?
Night owl. Absolutely.
Well, here's a crazy question from Jeff. Green Elantra or white Elantra?
It was a wide Elantra. My son does drive a gray one, though.
And he did Sigma Chi. Uh-oh.
He is in Sigma Chi, yes.
Um, let's see. Gain or Tide?
I use Tide Pods. I make sure the kids aren't trying to eat them or sniff them, though.
Okay. Photography shops or driving straight through?
Driving straight through.
Okay. Um, when you get a hamburger, do you get it with tomatoes or without tomatoes?
With tomato, extra pickle.
Okay. Um, I'm trying to think. Are you decisive or indecisive?
Very decisive.
Okay.
Over opinionated. That's me.
Okay. Um, Brittany J or Bullhorn Betty?
I don't know who said that, but that is delicious. Oh, I love it.
I couldn't resist.
Oh my God, that's so golden. All right, I'm going to get hate either way, right? But I have to go with Bullhorn Betty only
Okay.
because she's more animated. She moves around, and I like to laugh. You know, you can't laugh at somebody just sitting there that much, you know? Oh my God, that is golden. Love it.
And here's a straight out question. Did Brittany kick the cat?
Yes, I saw it. Fucking lion. Oh, let me just shut up because I
Yes,
don't
I
want to
said
offend anybody.
that. I said that, Chloe.
That
She
is
did.
perfect. Keep that on your menu. I love it. I love it.
She did kick the cat.
I think she did,
Okay.
or her husband
Okay.
did. One of them did it.
Okay. Isn't that crazy? I'm not even in that genre, and I've heard about that for a long time. I could not stop laughing.
Well, I'm in that genre I'm not anymore. When you got a channel, it's hard to just get to your friends' channels, right? That why would we
Right.
give our time to trash channels anymore? So, I mean, that's
Right.
the way I look at it. So, I haven't been over there in over a year since I've had my channel.
Yeah. Yeah. So are you, let's say, piano or cello?
Piano.
Okay. Oh, Jeff, this is a Jeff question, okay? Tommy Jude or tooth pulled without anesthesia?
Can
I
I
don't know.
ask
I don't know what you'd be doing with Tommy, but
who's Tommy Jude?
uh okay, so that doesn't count. Think of another one. Let's see. Do you um make the bed daily or leave it unmade?
Absolutely make the bed.
Okay. Oh my gosh, this is hard. It is really hard. I played these games with my client though, and it's very entertaining.
It
It
is.
keeps people going forever because it makes your mind think. You're just like you can't think too long. You're on to the next question. Sinner or saint?
Both.
Um, religious or atheist?
Religious.
Okay. Um, blue or purple?
Purple.
Okay, here's a good question. Who wins between 100 men and one gorilla? That was from Chloe. That was from Chloe.
I dig it. Oh, that's so good. 100 men or one gorilla. Wow. Listen, I'm gonna pull for the gorilla all day.
Okay.
Wow, I
Jeff
love it.
asked, sitcoms, right?
Yes,
We go with Friends or Seinfeld.
friends. I'm a girl.
Okay. You're going with the gorilla. The gorilla wins. That's what they're going with, gorilla. And they're fighting at the same time.
Yeah, I'm gonna count the gorilla because I feel like half of the men are gonna run. They're gonna be like, fuck this. Nobody who fights a damn gorilla. I'd be out, but I'd be on the sidelines watching. It'd be so good.
Bigfoot or aliens?
Now, anybody that knows me knows I don't believe in any of that stuff. I'm a realist, but if I had to meet one, I'd probably go with Bigfoot. Yeah, I'll just go with Bigfoot.
Okay. There was another question here. Hold on a second. Oh, pineapple on your pizza or not?
Yes. Why
Okay.
not? That's lovely.
Christmas or Thanksgiving?
Get on a biscuit. Um, for myself personally, it's going to be Thanksgiving.
Camper or tent?
Oh, camper. I'm glamping. Not with all the makeup and stuff, but I have a bad back. Listen, I'm gonna primp. I'm gonna take care of my back.
Hotel room?
Hotel room is, well, I don't mind being outside, but I gotta have a place for my back. And I call my husband Beefcake. And I was like, can we just sell all this shit off? I want to get a camper, and just get on the road and stop
Right.
where I want to stop and sleep. That's my dream. That's my dream. And I've just
Lu-
about had him talked into it.
Lulu wants to know beetroot or burger or
Shut
not.
up, Lulu.
I don't know
Like,
what that is.
because, like I said, we do everything on our channel. That is an Aussie hamburger, and they put beets on their burgers, you guys. So, of course, I've made a couple dishes from people in the chat, and one of them was a cheeseburger, and I made it the way the Aussies do. I put beetroot on it, which they call it beetroot. In the States, we just call them beets. You put a slice of beet on it. One of the Aussies said, make sure you fry an egg, put that on it too. Y'all, it was the grossest shit I ever tasted in my life. Seriously. And I had beefcake there. I was like, all right, this is what we're doing. This is an Aussie dish. We've got to try it. I went live with it or whatever. And he dug it. He was like, yeah, this is some good stuff. I was like, what? It was disgusting. Y'all don't put a beet on your burger. It is disgusting.
That
And they
don't
put
sound
pineapple. They put pineapple, beet, and an egg on it. Y'all, it's disgusting,
that.
nasty shit. Don't try it.
I've ate a hamburger out of a donut. Like they opened the donut up and they put the hamburger stuff in between there with an
Mhm.
egg. And I've eaten that before. It wasn't too bad.
I don't think I'm
So,
going to eat that either.
Tiger King or Carol Baskin?
Listen, for me, it's going to have to be Tiger King. I think he was more entertaining.
Yeah.
But I don't like either one of them. But Tiger King, he was definitely, I'd love to make fun of people in good fun. Usually I have to wait till they're my friends unless I do it on the side where nobody's watching. But I would
Right.
definitely make fun of Tiger King to his face. I love it so much.
He seems like he would be good natured about it though.
Yeah, I think he would make fun of me back, and I dig that so
Yeah.
much.
Yeah. How'd you dig his singing? Do you think he was a good
No,
singer?
no, 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 no. But
Yeah.
he's a funny guy, and he's weird, and all the things that I like. He's just a weird guy.
I was gonna ask you, Jeff, you're wherever you're getting these questions, it seems very personal and like, yeah, I'm not asking that. Leslie wants to know spit or swallow.
Ah, if diamonds are involved, I'll swallow all day. If not, I'm probably going to dip out before the spit is even comes into play.
Whiskey or beer?
Whiskey,
Cigarette or dip?
cigarette.
Okay. Oh my god. Cocaine or amphetamines?
Well, I've never done anything like that except for this once I did for the very first time. I went 55 years without ever doing anything, Gage. I never even smoked weed. I don't know what happened to me, but last December I was like, I'm gonna try weed live on my channel. Oh my god, y'all, the shit that we've done. The next thing I know, I'm high and I'm on a roller coaster.
Oh
Live,
Jesus.
live on a roller coaster. It was great fun. And so I think I'm gonna have to go with amphetamines. I don't think I'm gonna do cocaine.
You
Imagine, I
know,
mean, weed did that to me,
the stupidest one of the stupidest things I've ever done is I got drunk. I got a good buzz going on. We were at this park and I saw the little, merry-go-round part. And I was laying on it. And before you know it, my friends start spinning it. I could not stop spinning once I got off that damn thing. I had to hold on to the bench, and I was
Really?
spinning. I could not close my eyes without spinning. I freaked out because I thought, "Oh my God, I messed up my equilibrium. There's no way I'm ever gonna be right."
I have every memory of what happened that night. I just could not control it. I was in a hotel room and
Yeah.
over in Tennessee, and across the street we were watching the roller coaster. It was nighttime, and I don't know. I think I ended up line dancing and going on the roller coaster with my phone in my mouth so we could stay live. And it was great fun. I've never gone back and watched it. I'm too embarrassed.
I mean, some of the stuff that, the 80s, that's why I asked you, were you raised in the 80s? Obviously you were. I was born in 71. So,
Oh, you're
you
the
know,
same age as
we're,
my brother. But see,
we're
raised in the
almost
80s
there.
means raised in the 80s is different for me because I was having kids at 14 years old. So I, boom, wasn't raised in the 80s. I
Right,
was raised in children. I was already adulting,
right.
at 14. So it's not like I got to do all the stuff that teenagers do.
Lulu has a question for you. Threesome
Oh,
or self-soothing?
listen, Lulu is a freaking troublemaker. She is. Um,
That's hilarious.
threesome, but I get to pick the two participants.
3 girls or 2 girls and a guy?
Absolutely
Or,
not. I don't even like my own hoo-ha. I don't want to look at anybody else's. I'm gonna pick dead or alive. I'm gonna take Patrick Swayze, and I'm gonna take let me see who would be my other. I'm gonna take Patrick and
Bill
uh
Thompson.
no. No, but I will take. I'll take very young John Travolta.
I I heard he swings a different direction.
Well, I'll get him just swinging for 13 minutes of a good time my direction. But tops 13 minutes. 13 minutes tops.
Okay.
That's all I can offer.
Oh my goodness, you're cracking me up. They're talking about a race car driver. Is that an
Tony
inside
Stewart.
joke?
Tony
Oh,
Stewart.
okay.
Yes, I will have to replace him with John Travolta. Oh my God. One night with Tony Stewart. I'd probably give him 3.5, maybe 14 minutes tops.
Yeah. Let me see. You want to pick some now? I mean, I'm
Yeah,
kind of
I'll go with you. I'll go with you. Let's see. Okay, so okay. Um excuse me, I'm
Oh,
sorry.
there's already one in the chat. Ann Taylor or Eliza Massoff.
Oh no, I'm not doing either. Kill me now.
Neither. But if I have to choose, oh God, I can't even. Um, I'd go with Eliza.
Let me let me ask you a couple questions. Anal or no?
For me or the female?
Giving.
For me, no. For the female, if she's down with it.
Oh, listen to you being the gentleman. I love it. Mile High Club or not?
Not.
Wow, really? So if you had a chance to go in the bathroom and slap it, flip it, rub it down, you wouldn't do it?
Oh, I would. I would. I thought
Absolutely.
that I thought that you meant like, have I done that? No, I
I
have.
haven't done it
But I
either, but
would.
I'm down.
I would. I would.
I'm totally down or up, as they say. Um,
Yeah.
best favorite actress, past or present?
Um. You're gonna think I'm weird, but I had the biggest crush on Gwyneth Paltrow.
Oh, I don't think
Um,
that's weird.
when she was in Great Expectations and present, I would have to say God, my mind went blank. She was in The Blind Side. What's her name? Sandra Bullock.
Sandra
Yeah, that
Bullock.
was,
Yeah, she's
yeah,
hot.
Sandra
She's hot. Yeah,
Sandra Bullock. Yeah.
yeah, she's hot. Let's see. If you could go to any country in the world for a week, anywhere in the world, all paid, everything is paid for, where would you go?
Probably Italy.
Nice. If you could
Yeah.
cheat on your girlfriend, if your girlfriend gave you a day pass, who's it with?
Her.
Come on, knock it off. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. This may make sense to me. Make it make sense. How long have you and girlfriend been together?
Um, it'll be a year in October.
There it is, you guys. That's why he said her. He hasn't put a ring on it yet. The minute that ring goes on and the IGs are said, give it 6 months and the remote control becomes his best friend. Girlfriend, don't marry him, just use him. Okay, so that's why you no, let's get serious. If you were gonna get a day pass, who would it be?
Honestly, to think, I mean, somebody that's normal and attainable, right? Or are you talking about
Yeah,
fantasy?
and it could be
Okay.
fantasy, it could be
Okay.
anybody's. Even
I mean,
somebody on TV who's playing somebody else.
I'm just thinking if it's real, I've at the point in my life where if I've wanted it, I've had it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Type thing.
excuse you. What?
But
You
so
tramp. You
so
tramp, Gabe.
I would not have to cheat. You know, after a while, you're just like, I'm done with this life. Let me go to the
So
next
you're
portion.
ready to settle down. And do you believe in soulmates?
I believe that you can have very deep connections with people. Sometimes it's not even things you understand. It just happens, and I think that's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing.
Oh
You know,
gosh.
I've
We got to
you
get back to
know,
the sex talk. He's too sappy.
I,
Let me ask you this. Do you believe in love at first sight? Or is it lust?
no, no.
All right.
Infatuation.
Yeah, we're
Infatuation.
together on that one. We're together on that one. We've
Yeah.
grown a little bit. We've grown a little bit. All right. Have you ever wrapped your I'm going to give you guys some really good tips right now. Have you ever wrapped your bed in cellophane or plastic wrap and thrown some diddy juice all over it, also known as baby oil, and had great sex, slipping and sliding away?
Where in the P Diddy shit is this coming from?
My bedroom, but go ahead.
I've never done that. I've
Listen,
never done that.
have you not heard me talk about monkey sex? Yeah, all kind of shit happens up there. Oh, I have to take pills to get through. I have to take pain pills to get through monkey sex. But it's good stuff. It's not shit. It's really, really good, hot stuff. The problem
Okay.
is I'm at the age now where I'm just 13 minutes of a good time, but I can be done in 3 minutes if I'm just too tired for the bullshit. Have you ever videotaped yourself having sex?
By accident, yes.
What? Oh, so
Yeah,
does somebody
like when,
videotape you?
no, like well, well we used to make homemade videos like with the video camera we had, and you know, me and my friends would always, you know, have that video camera doing the YouTube before it was even a thing, and TikTok, all that stuff. So there's a lot of videotapes out there with the younger me doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Well, one day
Oh,
I had forgot that that camera was on the dresser because we had been like, I don't know, horsing around, and next thing you know, me and my girl going at it, and you know, forgot about it. One thing led to another. Who knows where that tape is?
oh my gosh. You could be famous and not even know it. Wow. All right. All right. Porn or nah?
What?
Porn or nah?
One more time.
Porn or no?
No, not anymore.
Wow, Gage, you really shaped up. That girlfriend of yours, she really whipped it into line. Okay, I got it. Wow. Because
Well, when you're happy, you're happy. You know what I mean? You don't go looking for an offer.
it's not about being happy, it's about being freaky.
Well, we are pretty freaky together, so you know.
I love it.
Yeah.
Let's see what else. Have you ever had a one night stand? Did you do the walk of shame?
Many times.
Oh, you tramp. You straight up tramp. Have you ever paid for sex? Tell the truth.
Have I? No.
Lies. You pay for sex every damn day because believe you me, one way or another, whether it comes from some greenbacks in the form of 100s or it comes from some food in the refrigerator or jewelry around our neck, you're going to pay for it. I'm just
good
putting it
point.
out there.
Good point. Good point.
Yeah, but you actually haven't paid money for it. Would you admit it if you had paid money for it?
True.
Would you admit that?
Well, of course. I mean, if you put it that way, of course, yeah.
Yeah, I would. I think I would admit it if I paid money for it. I mean, you know.
But I mean, you're not going to tell your girl, here's $50. Here's $50 for, you know, whatever.
Should have my husband told me it was $50 to go get down and dirty with it, I'd be like, 13 minutes, let's go. It's the best money ever made. Straight up, I would love it. But I've been married a long time. I could give a shit less. Just give me your money. I appreciate it.
Well, Lulu asked, Diddy or Snoop? I'm going to have to go with Snoop.
I'm going Snoop all day.
I mean,
he's fucking funny too.
Diddy to me will never be the same ever again.
Snoop is funny. He can be funny. He hangs out with old women. He was hanging out with Martha Stewart and keeping her high and keeping her laughing. There's got to be something there.
Right, exactly.
Let's see. Have you ever flashed somebody besides your girlfriend?
Yes.
Really? Who? Where?
Yes. Huh?
Like in public?
Yes.
Really? Tell me.
I used to drink a lot. So, there was a lot of drunken nights. You just riding around town and you just pull it down. Whatever.
Woo! I love it.
And I played football all my life. So, you're in the locker room, you're constantly, your friend's not paying attention or somebody's not paying attention or asleep. You just go and
throw it in their face.
Put their junk in their face.
Yeah.
Put their junk in their face, it just, whatever.
Oh my God. Could you imagine being a guy and waking up to someone's junk being on your cheek? I would kill you. I'm a woman and I would kill you because you're not sure. Now, unless you got money in your hands, then I'd be like, all right, I'm down. If you came to me and put it on near my face without I'm getting something in return, we would be throwing. Let's see. Toys or not? Sex toys or not?
For
me,
it's okay, but it depends on the mood. Sometimes toys just make it a lot interesting, but sometimes who wants to play with toys? Well,
I do, but go ahead.
You want to just get into business,
Yeah, but okay, so I think cock rings for everybody, the vibrating silicone ones. Listen, if you haven't tried it, fellas, get you one, because it's pleasurable for you and pleasurable for the women in your life.
Rizzo's going good night.
Good night, Rizzo. Love you so much. All right, I will stop this with your channel because I'm turning into Leanie After Dark here, and everybody's like going, "I'm unsubbing to that dumb bitch." So I will stop at that.
Okay.
Thank you so
Yeah, well,
much for your hospitality and your grace, and for
man,
having
no
me up.
problem.
You have a
No
great
problem.
chat. I love your chat, and all due respect to your girlfriend, I meant nothing by anything that I said, and I'm glad you're in a beautiful relationship. Y'all take care. Thanks
Thank
for
you.
having me. Talk to you later.
Thank you. All
Bye,
right. Bye
guys.
bye.
Can you kick me down from my computer?
Yeah. All right, everybody. We've been going for about 3 hours now. If you've been here the whole 3 hours, thank you so much for hanging out with us. First there was three, then there was two, and now there's just myself. Um, you guys, I want to say this: whether you're watching it live, whether you're going to watch it on replay, if you've been in here at all tonight, please continue to support the true crime community for the channel that are really trying to make a difference in the true crime. I understand there's different types of true crime channels. There's those type that, do things differently. But I'd really appreciate if you gave this channel a try. You know, trying to do a lot of different things, and I'm having some upper level guests. So if you haven't already, please go and subscribe and hit the like. And thank you so much, Nina and Leanie and her subs, and Daniel that was here for a little bit. Um, you guys have a wonderful night. You know, on with the next. On with the next. I might say a little bit about the sentencing, but as far as any more videos on Idaho, they won't be going. They won't be happening. I can tell you that. Okay, Maestro, cue that music.